Okay, so I'm here with Brittany Henderson. It is April 29th, 2019. Brittany Henderson is my therapist, and we are doing an interview based on gang stalking, what I've shown her, and what she has seen, acknowledged. Brittany Henderson is a therapist, license number 10401, is that correct?
104401.
104401. And Brittany, can you briefly describe your background for the viewers?
What type of background?
Just what you do.
Okay.
What you're qualified in.
Sure. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I graduated from Pepperdine in 2015, and I've worked treatment centers, hospitals, all over the place, and now I work in private practice. So, work with several people in different settings.
And psychotherapy, right?
Oh yeah, psychotherapy. Yeah, marriage and family therapist.
Okay, so I've been seeing Brittany, I might have just mentioned, for 5 months, and she has seen a lot of data showing mass groups mobbing, trying to create mental illness and make me look like a violent paranoid schizo in mass coordinated groups, also known as a conspiracy, 2 or more people to get together to hurt, harm, maim, or do something negative or in a bad way to someone. Gang stalking would be the same thing as gaslighting, except gaslighting would be singular, as gang stalking would be plural, mass groups, supposedly derived from KKK and Adolf Hitler's regime of a next type of warfare tactic. It is used by mass hate groups. It is very rare. It is used by mass coordinated hate groups, obviously the KKK, but also, ironically, the police use these tactics in the United States of America, as well as other countries, contacting security companies to follow people around unconstitutionally and illegally and go after those people they don't like, trust, don't feel comfortable around, or things that have nothing to do with the Constitution of the United States and violates everyone's protections and freedoms. While very few are actually targeted, it does happen, and it's extremely rare. Brittany Henderson has seen a lot of the footage, and simply walking outside in front of her office out in Thousand Oaks, which I live in Woodland Hills, so all the way out this way, insane amounts of numbers showing that it's worldwide and directed at me, and she has witnessed that. Now, I have some questions I wanted to go through for Brittany to talk to you guys, or talk about what she's witnessed on video and outside this office. Remember, this is going on all day and night, 24/7, worldwide, directed at me. But in the last 5 months, I have shoveled huge amounts of data towards Brittany, which doesn't come close to 0.000000001% of what's really going on. But just seeing a few of these videos, she was kind of like, you're like, oh my God, right? I mean, just totally.
What you were talking about, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Can I just
quickly? Yeah. Anytime you feel like you want to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah. Just that you've given consent that it's okay that I speak about our sessions in here. What's happening?
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about psychoanalysis,
like
but I'm giving consent for. As far as the video I've showed her and what she's witnessed,
and that I am a therapist,
and she is my therapist. We're not violating any type of or we're not talking about analysis here based on is Kevin crazy, is Kevin not crazy. That's not what we're doing here. But the situation of gang stalking and okay, so
no mental
definitely
anything
consent,
what's mental evaluation. None of that stuff.
No, this is not a mental evaluation. It's just 2 people talking about what they've seen. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But just you give me consent. So I just
correct. And
for this.
Brittany has consent to talk about these things with me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. go ahead.
And
Sorry.
you give me consent, right?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's yours.
To show
Yeah.
this. Okay. So let's start. Okay. So I obviously, like I just said, I showed Brittany proof of these mass operations with the police security companies on video, photos. Just off the top of my head, I'm going to talk about some of the things I've shown her, which is a lot. I can't remember it all. And if you would like to kind of jump in and say, "Oh yeah, well, what about this?" That's fine too.
Okay.
The video of the car patterns at the park by my house. Video footage of literally something like 15 pairs of twos, identical cars, like 2 gray Accords, 2 white Jeep Cherokees, 3 who knows black pickups, all together, one behind the next, circling this park in insane amounts of numbers. You saw that, right?
I did.
What did you
There
think?
were double white trucks. I saw the patterns you're talking about, absolutely. Of the cars,
I mean, what did you think as far as like statistically? How can this be?
Well, I'm not a mathematician or
Well, no,
whatever,
but-
but it was a lot of.
But way
like
past
car-
the norm. Like once in a blue moon, you might see
Mm-hmm.
2 white Civics together. But to
Correct,
circle
it
a
was-
small park, what do you think? 100-yard patch of grass.
It's not large, and there were
It's about 50
definitely-
yards. It's not even.
Yeah, it's. I
A
don't
50
know how
circling
big
a
that is.
50-yard patch of grass. Let's say 15 pairs
Mhm.
of cars and 2s and 3s, identical cars,
Mhm.
and not
Everyone
even
has things.
spread one behind the back. Right? I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From a psychological or statistical analysis about if that's
it's
possible,
coincidence or not.
can that happen randomly by itself, or
I mean, I've never seen that many parked cars like that by itself.
Yeah, and-
or like coincidentally.
and
but-
that's just the part. This has happened every day for 18 years, and she didn't even see the license plates. Like some days I'll go to the park, there'll be maybe 1 car with no license plate, and then 10
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
later, 20 cars with no plates will show up. Statistically impossible, and that's not even close to what's done around my house every day, or at coffee shops or restaurants where I go, where I have video. I'll go to a restaurant, I'll video the cars right before I go in, and when I walk out a half an hour later, there'll be tons of cars and 2s and no plates. The same as the park, right?
Mhm.
But you haven't seen a lot of
You
that.
did show me some of the cars with no plates too.
Yeah.
Several actually. So and
Okay.
patterns like that.
And you
so,
think that
well, I've never seen that many cars with no plates.
because it's pretty rare, you see. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're by a dealer, like we're in Thousand Oaks now, and there's tons of dealers.
Mhm.
So you could sort of say, okay, there's going to be some cars by the dealers with no plates, but in public parking lot after parking lot,
Right.
right? It's once in a while you see a no plater, right?
Yeah.
Well, when this started around 2011, there was about 40% in each lot, especially the places that I go or the types of places. So, example, everyone knows I like to go to coffee shops, so after that, at every coffee shop, you would see 40% of cars with no plates or backwards
Mhm.
in coffee shops. Now, Brittany hasn't seen all that because it's just too much
Yeah.
to show someone. I mean, you can't sit there and shoveling that much video. And I have over 10 terabytes of things like this all day and night. But okay, so anyways, the park seemed pretty out there and strange, like, because I remember your reaction, like, I'm
I was
seeing
like,
it,
oh my
but
gosh, there's like, yeah, you're right, like there are like all these
yeah,
pairs. And I don't know if you've already told them or whatever, but the significance of the pairs and like the license plates and what that entails. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
they do, like
well, we get, no, I mean, I mentioned on my website, but for this interview, I'll state it again. The tactic of 2s, from a common sense, I mean, nobody's actually told me directly, hey Kevin, this is why we're doing this to you. If you walk around, let's say you're walking home and you see one of each car. You see a Civic, you see a Trans Am, you see a Camaro, you see a Lamborghini. You're not going to think
right.
anything. You're just going to be like, okay, I'm walking home, whatever, who cares? But if you walk outside and you see 2 white Civics, and then you see 2 blue Civics, and then together, and then you see 2 white Jeep Cherokees, all of a sudden your thought process is going to go, what the hell? There's 2 of these, there's 2 of those, this, and then of course it escalates. You might say, hey you bro, or someone might say, hey you bro, in Woodland Hills, and then instantly you drive to Thousand Oaks or Camarillo or Las Vegas or Florida, and the next person you have contact with mimics the same exact thing. Or they would do it to me on Hollywood Boulevard too. On Friday or Saturday night, someone would say something from a car, and then someone randomly would drive by, a different person, and say the same exact thing in twos, showing that there's mass internet-based communication tools to screw with this guy until his brain gives out and they put me in a mental institution or jail cell. But remember, working with the police. That's the most important part.
And people might say, like, well, they just say the same thing to you, you know, yada yada. But what you're saying is over years and years and years and years, and like all at once, like more so than the normal.
Yeah, I'm saying all day, night, 24/7, every single day, every country, every state, every person on the internet, every person out in public, all have access to these tools based on the internet, which were built by the police and government to torture, hurt, harm, maim, torture, kill, or try to provoke reactions to set someone up to remove them from society. And working with security companies too, which follow me around from place to place.
I saw that as well, the woman, the security woman in the parking lot who started, I was like, oh my gosh, she's very upset for some reason because she started yelling at you and calling you names and stuff.
Down at Woodland Hills, the girl looks like she works. Actually, the security company, which I think is a Ventura County security company, they have working in Woodland Hills. I don't even know if they're actually working in these setups. She's seen the 2 police setups one day, back to back, 2 days in a row. One at a Starbucks on Oxnard and Canoga with the police and citizens, and the next, it might even been that night or the next day, at Coffee Bean on Ventura Boulevard and Topanga, Gateway Plaza, working with a girl in a pink Corvette named Angeline, and ironically, there are 2 cop cars out in your parking lot right now, parked backwards, pointing towards where she parked the other day, showing, and the police have been here, have had police present the last 3 times I've been here, since Jason Schwetz, the owner of this property, was trying to set me up with the receptionist, Rhonda, and then basically threatening my life in a very vague way. If you want to talk to Brittany, blah, 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 you need to act professional, but that didn't really make sense because professional is, to them, is about we're censoring your speech and me not doing anything wrong, but being a human being, and I'm not an employee here anyways. I'm a customer seeing my therapist. So if I joke around or make jokes and laugh, I can't understand how that's any of their business, but they're sort of trying to do what everyone does to me, is curve it into something else to throw in the little cryptic message. If you want to see Brittany, well, first of all, why would someone word if you want to see Brittany? Because supposedly it's about my behavior and my conduct, which is just fabrications. But what does that have to do with seeing Brittany, right? And so the fact that he's coming out, if you want to see Brittany, you have to do what I tell you, is really about we're going to ratchet down on you and torture you, and you're going to have to put up with the attacks so that we can get a reaction with the police, or don't see Brittany. Basically, we don't want you talking, just like the death threats down from place to place I have on video, but especially down here at Starbucks. You had better not talk. And he's saying, this is all on video, by the way, and he's saying, or what, him getting up, getting in my face, and this and that. And I've had endless death threats everywhere, especially in Thousand Oaks and down LA and whatever, on video. Your Snitch, you've seen the Your Snitch, You're Dead one with the dog attacker.
The one, I've seen a couple of those ones.
Yeah, that guy has a police trained canine, and that is after he actually attacked me with the dog, which is all recorded on audio and video. And Detective Shapiro says, there's nothing here, I'm delusional and I'm imagining it, even though she has the video of the entire incident and the death threats.
Right, that's something that, I don't know, I would really like to hear. Talk
from
to the police. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would love to get them in front of a camera.
Or something, just regardless of like the stuff that isn't like physical evidence of this happening, you know, like that stuff that happened to you, you were harmed. You know, you had cuts. I saw everything. The dog attacker, the threats. I've seen those things, and so something needs to be done about that.
Yeah, and don't you think it's strange that all that information? I have it on my website. I have a page a mile long. Police refusing to help. All the police reports, all going to all the detectives. Even the conversations of them telling me it's okay for groups to get together and torture and kill me if they don't physically touch me, which is very strange. Mm-hmm. So I would love them to have a dialogue like that, but we all know that would never happen.
I would just
because
I mean, I think that I would really like that. Like I would like to understand what.
Oh, from a psychological.
Well, just what's going on and how you can be protected, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like these
well,
people
what do you
threatening
think?
you
I
and all these
mean,
things.
when you have a psychology degree, you're handing them crime after crime. People are coming after you. Mm-hmm. They keep lying. You're imagining it. You're all alone and you're isolated. Right. They've come in at 5 years old. They've isolated, destroyed my reputation and credibility, and spewed lies to the entire planet to isolate, destroy, and then crack down. He's crazy, we need to remove him from society. But what do you think, what does your gut or your degree or whatever tell you of why, if you walk into the police, whose job is to protect, no matter what, people, to protect and serve, and you keep handing them on a weekly basis, you keep calling them, there's lizard tails on my doormat, you've seen that, and you keep handing them
and the
proof and evidence, wow, black and white. We're not talking theory here. We're talking on video and photos. Why do you think
nothing's done about it?
Correct.
I feel like you're just dismissed over and over. And
okay, but why?
That's why I wanted to.
I mean, if I'm handing them
evidence,
I'm handing them a closed and shut case. I'm doing their entire job for them because they refuse. So why aren't they making the arrest, putting a stop to it, telling people to leave Kevin Perlman alone, we know what you're doing?
Right. What do they say to you?
They just try to make me look crazy. They either provoke me with the tactics or little cryptic threats, kind of like Jason Schwetz, or
when they came to your house trying to talk to you?
When they came to my house, when I called about the rat's tail, this was actually down the list, but when I called about the rat's tail, they came out, they refused to look at it. Remember, these people have tried to break in my house, I think 6 or 7 times now, once with my father, getting past the front gate. But when I'm going to let them in to see that someone put a rat's tail or a lizard tail on my welcome mat, they refused to come in, and they told me that I'm a 5150 violent paranoid schizo.
Okay, just for the record also, you've never been violent or aggressive or agitated. You've been nothing but polite and very respectful of me. You know, I've never felt threatened by you at all.
Well, I'm this way with everyone.
I know. But, and so the way that they are perceiving you or trying to make you appear, things they're telling you are just not true. Like you're 51,
correct. And I have all sorts of defamation, screenshots of defamation, how I'm breaking into properties and I'm attacking people, doing all these things.
And that's...
But
everything I've seen, you would never do such a thing.
But don't you think it's strange that not only are these lies being made up, but they instantly go worldwide? I mean, that's the strange part, right?
Yeah, because you say like there and here, and I've seen both places, and like you said too, like wherever you go, the same stuff is happening. And like I haven't seen those videos, obviously, like Colorado or wherever.
Yeah, of course, that was a long time ago.
But in Woodland Hills and here, I've seen videos, and so it's not just isolated.
Yeah, I mean, it's worldwide. Yeah, and if we're all the way out in Thousand Oaks and she's seen it in the argument, it's just a few people out there. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. But think about the food for thought, or so the viewers can understand. Kelly Hatch is sent after me when I'm 21 to follow me from Calabasas High, and I go out to college in Southern Oregon State College, and Kelly Hatch is notified, follow Kevin up. Now, I wasn't friends, had no contact, never spoke with Kelly Hatch. Follows me up. They put her above me in the dorms, a floor above, so I'm pretty much under her. And I recognize her, like, you look really familiar, but because, and so we start talking and we become friends and this and that. And then later on I find out Kelly Hatch after telling me to borrow an X-Acto knife because I was working on those stereo plates in the 80s. What do they call them? I don't remember what they call the slots, but you had to cut out plexiglass plates to slide your, this was back in the 80s, or 90s. And so I knew, because she was an artist and had her art kit and this and that, can I borrow your X-Acto knife? Sure, go in the room, my door's open. And then after this, the entire world, literally, is told I broke in her room, and also that I stole her Jeep Cherokee. Okay, kind of strange. But remember, even if I had done that, or I should say if it was any other person, it would be a small little local matter and this and that, and it would be over with and blah, blah, blah. So why did it go worldwide, right?
Can you, just so they all are clear on this, like how you know that it's worldwide and not just like...
Because the gang stalking tactics are based on several things. They're example of the patterns of twos we're talking about. Remember that these tactics are literally in the thousands. So the cars and twos is just one of these tactics. All of my conversations are mimicked off Twitter, Facebook, or from person to person. So if I walk into a 7-Eleven right here and go, alrighty, like joking around Jim Carrey jokes or something, alrighty then, I'll then, let's say the next week I fly out to Las Vegas or Florida or speak with programmers in Ukraine or Philippines, Russia, Japan. They'll start mimicking what I say back to me from this one event at 7-Eleven, right? And the cars and the clothing colors and all these things. So it's this mind game of like, I know you, but I don't know you. I don't know you, but I'm going to mimic back each and every aspect of your life back to you until it's so blatantly obvious, but you can't tell anyone because you're all alone and you're isolated.
Absolutely. And it took you, like, this wasn't instant, you said too, it took you a long time to understand and realize what was going right when you were like 29?
Yeah, it took me a good, I'd say 6 years to really understand things and just get past that I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And the personalities of the anger from my family or my friends. And remember, it starts with Mike Huntley basically telling me he's working with the police. I'm a dead man. It wasn't that direct, but I couldn't believe what I was hearing because it wasn't direct and it was very, I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. We're using the system against you. Have a good life now with an angry voice. Quoting lines from Crocodile Dundee. I can't remember the exact line. It's like, when we have a problem, we tell Wally, and Wally tells the town, and no more problem, hinting that he's actually disseminating information to use against me in an illegal, unconstitutional way, and then things like you're joking around before you really understand, and you sort of lightly grab his neck like, we got to start making money. Remember, the context, I know this guy for 25 years, so it's not some stranger I'm putting my hands on. After that, random people all around the city saying that I tried to choke and kill him. Right? Now, that's just one of these thousands and thousands and thousands of dramatized out of context lies, but nobody's questioning the way that the information's flowing. I mean, that's the entire argument. It's not that Kevin's the devil child, devil spawn, breathing fire and this and that. It's, why are these people disseminating as much information across the entire planet to use against someone and trying to collect and twist and contort whatever they can get or just make up blatant lies to the world? Right? That's the real question.
Yeah, because you also, like, I don't know if everyone knows already, but you went to school, you got degrees, you were doing like amazing work, right? And everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
I'm sorry, I've seen some of it, but like, you're very talented.
I was a guy in a pile of 7 billion people trying to do something with his life, working for Universal Studios, modern video film, coming out of University of Colorado after Southern Oregon State College, into visual effects, 3D animation, .NET programming, SQL programming, IT, whatever, just trying to make it and survive and do something with their life. Right. Started my own company, a very small cheeseball company, nothing, we're not, you know.
You did all these
but
things.
It's, I was sabotaged before ever putting my foot on the ground, if that makes sense.
So yeah, at 29 is when you started to.
Yeah, I mean it starts at 5, but at 29
when you became
really
aware
bad.
of.
Yeah, and I realized Mike Huntley was sent into my life at 14 to, I'm watching over you and you better be a perfect person and you better not do anything. We're not talking about crimes. You better not do what we don't want you to do, and that includes like, don't put salt on your food, don't eat more than one donut a day, don't drink coffee, right? Things that are unconstitutional or socialist, but you're met with, you're a dead man if you veer past that.
Right.
Okay, so we're kind of going off the
Sorry.
list here. Okay, so we talked about the death threats, the dog attacker. So the dog attacker, you saw your snitch your day.
I saw that, and then I also saw the pictures of when you're in the hospital, right? With your ripped pants and blood.
Yeah, blood, dog bites, pants ripped, shirt ripped, Shapiro.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happened and you're imagining it. And even on the doctor's report, he tries to, even though it states I was treated for a dog bite, he puts at the top, I suffer from delusional disorders.
Okay.
Well, I don't know MDs, or not MDs, I don't know ER doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Some psychiatrists have MDs. But I don't know ER doctors that put things like he suffers from clinical labels on ER reports, right?
I don't know anything
He suffers
about
from
that,
schizophrenia. They don't put that on those reports. You come in for a physical injury and they put how they treated you.
Did they put that on there?
Yeah, they did, but at the top, so they played this game. Detective Shapiro and Angela Stewart say, "Oh, can you get me the report from the West Hills Hospital?"
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and I get. Now, if you think about it, the detective would probably never ask that. They would just go in and ask the doctor questions. So I go, I get the report, I give it to her. She says, "Oh, it says you suffer from delusional disorder," which I saw that before I gave it to her, so I put it on my website, circled, and then showing below, and with the photos, right, showing that there's manipulation involved.
Well, it's just it sounds like they didn't look at the facts on the sheet, like the pictures.
Yeah, but
and
I mean,
the
based
bite
on
and
the
all that.
common sense and the amount of times they're doing these things to me,
Right.
the doctor was notified, we don't want this coming out. The doctor puts the bullshit into the report. She says, "Kevin, give me the report." Then she plays this game like, "I don't have time, I'm too busy." So when I'm skimming down the report, "Oh, delusional disorder, I'm not looking below."
Right. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
That's what they see, and then they dismiss the rest.
Of course, but they damn well know what's going on with 7 tire slashings, car keyings, 10 years of car defacings, thousands of pictures of these on my website and given to them.
I saw several of the photos you showed me about the different cars too, not just one car, but like it was horrifying to see what they did to you.
If I'm a police officer and a guy comes in like every week for years, like this was done, that was done, and I was a detective, first I say, get this as a detective. If I was a detective, I would say, "Oh gee, you don't think anything's going on here? Every single day something's done to his car for 10 years.
Did you file a report, and did they ever do anything?
Oh yeah, there's
about it?
report after report. There's a page, a police refusing to help, on my website.
Okay. So nothing
by
came.
chronological order, showing this was reported to the police, here's the police report, here's the proof of the crimes.
Right.
And like each time they tried to dumb down the report, like, like car tire number 6 slashing, "Oh, well, you just have old tires," right? Things like that.
So
they tried to
took
stop it.
They didn't take action on that, though.
No, they every time I go in, they try to stop me from filing a police report, word things in such a way, well, this isn't a crime.
Okay.
And then I sort of make them file the police reports.
Yeah.
But remember, when they file a police report, it's then submitted to the detective to review to see if, "Oh, well, I think something strange is going on here." But the detectives are all told not to do anything, so then I go straight to the detectives, and they keep lying to me, and they'll tell me, "Oh, it's okay for people to get together and abuse you to death until you're dead, provided they don't touch you." And I'm like, I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Right.
Yet I have video clips on my website from like something like Channel 4 News, interviewing cops saying gang stalking is real, and the cop admitting that it's happening and it's unacceptable. So why would a cop admit that gang stalking is unacceptable, but then Kevin Perlman walks in, "You're a dead man," because they're not committing crimes? Right? I mean,
Right.
So
doesn't
what's the association? Why wouldn't they
say the same thing
take
to
action?
you?
What
Correct.
reason?
That's my question too. Like, that's what's not making sense.
Because they're an accessory.
Okay.
They're an accessory to murder.
Right, but
And once that gets exposed, whoever is involved it'll fall down like dominoes, and the dominoes will go right up to the top, opening up doors for conversations. Wait, this guy's being hunted, but the police won't help him. Who's responsible? Well, if the police aren't going to stop the crime, then the police are involved in the crime. So the police don't want it coming out. So the guy who had a police-trained canine, you're a snitch, you're dead, who attacked me with his dog, which you saw, which Shapiro said nothing happened and I was suffering from delusional disorders. Do you see the connection? Wait, we're giving, and this guy was kind of a gang member-y thug guy. For all I know, without any proof, he probably cut some kind of deal. You know, they probably went to jail and they cut a deal with him. Hey, we'll let you out on good behavior or something, provided you go after Kevin. Something like that. I'm just making it. That's a theoretical.
Yeah.
And he says, sure. You know, I get out of jail. Here, we'll give you a police-trained canine. I have photos and video of the canine unit going into the Met property, picking up and dropping off the dog. That's pretty strange.
Okay, I haven't seen those, but that is.
Yeah, right.
I saw the video of the dog, and the owner.
Which is bald, like Dincy.
And then I saw the aftermath, like your pants and leg and all that. So it's like you can't deny that something happened there, like the dog attacked you, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know the owner, I don't know any of that stuff, but regardless of that at all, like there was a crime that was committed, like and something should have been done.
Yeah, I have something like, I believe 8 videos of him throwing things at my car. I think about 5, you're a snitch, you're dead. Faggot, bitch, whatever. All just thuggy intimidations, tactics. He actually had a stack of mail, stolen mail, when he attacked me with the dog.
Okay.
And ironically, Dincy, on his Facebook account, has these articles about people stealing mail, which is actually Dincy scams, because all the things that Dincy's posting on his Facebook, these crimes are happening around cover-up crimes, if that makes sense. Right. So this guy who has a police-trained canine, who has a stack of everyone else's mail, if he has a police-trained canine, he's working with the police. But wait, Dincy's trying to catch someone involved in this mail theft. Wait, doesn't really add up, right? Some freaky's going on with the police, right?
And Dincy, when you first met him, how long ago did you first meet him?
Well, I actually met him around 2013 on arrests with his partner Jensen, which was the lead. Jensen was the lead. And Jensen was telling me things like, you're not allowed to put a tripod on the sidewalk, this and that. And he starts mentioning that if I take a picture of a child, I'm a pedophile, and things like this. And then trying to turn the conversations around on me and make it look like I was this or that, jumping from thing to thing. I said, I want your badge number. And then he got mad, said, oh, you want my badge number? So he writes me up a misdemeanor ticket for not a, what's it called? An infraction. We're talking about sitting on the sidewalk. A misdemeanor ticket for sitting on the sidewalk, which they refused to give me the discovery and police reports. Basically mad because I wanted the badge number to report him to Internal Affairs. Right? Because I knew that he was on the side of these people mobbing me to death. And when he's coming after me saying, you don't talk, or I'm trying to silence you, I want the badge number. Well, he showed his true colors by saying, oh, you want my badge number? Well, now I write you up this, I arrest you for a misdemeanor, and then I write it on the ticket. And he says, here's the badge number, right? Okay, now Dincy was his lackey partner. Now Dincy's running for City Council District 12, and Dincy comes back around 2016, 2017 in an angry rage, trying to cover this all up. Why do you think in the 2016-17 arrests, paying off Scroggins to say I threatened to kill him with the 422, and all these things, with these mass attacks and setups. Do you see a connection between Mr. I want to be a politician or climb up the ladder, but I can't if I have this dark cloud of what we've done to Kevin Perlman hanging over his head, right? Which links into bigger, huger things starting at 5 years old.
And have you ever talked to him? Like face to face?
No, I mean...
I asked him.
He arrested me, read me his Miranda rights, and then wanted information after, and after they brought me into the holding center before throwing me into jail, he kept hinting about T1 class between first and second grade, showing that he had been contacted by my family and those working with him, because why would he have this information? And who would care anyway?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's actually, I want
you go ahead, sorry, then I'll ask you after.
Okay, so you've seen the mass groups showing up outside of Starbucks, Jamba Juice, restaurants, other places on video, working with security companies and groups, private citizens, and the police, all working together, and me calling it out on video, narrating on video before it even
like they're
happens.
Gonna pull up now.
Yeah, exactly. Within minutes, and these events done to me endlessly and over and over. I mean, what did you think?
Well, I've definitely seen that one video of the Starbucks employee
like right down in
up.
Thousand Oaks by Thousand Oaks Mall.
Was that the Thousand Oaks? Or was it? Okay. Him coming up to you and giving you that paper and saying you can't come here anymore? Are you talking about a different time? The one where there was a security guard and a Starbucks employee that approached you saying you have to leave and you can't be here and you can't come back.
No, I don't think they had any.
You showed me that one on video, and later it was the...
This was where?
I thought it was in Encino, or in the Valley. When you're sitting outside of the table and he walked up with the paperwork.
Oh, no, that was in Topanga and Ventura.
Okay.
Maybe around 2008.
Okay.
And he tried to force me into signing false confessions. That's what you saw.
Okay.
We don't want you here unless you sign this paper. This was using security guard John Paul Naranjo, who 2 years later punched me 7 times in the back of the head to try to silence me because I got photos of the paper showing what it was. He refused to show me what was on the paper, but wanted me to sign a piece of paper. Well, first of all, coffee shops don't walk up to you and say, "Hey, you're a bad person," and this and that. We don't want you here, so clarify your confessions that you're a bad person, right? Well, they try to get coerced false confessions, but also, I wasn't allowed to see the paper. I said, "Give me a copy." No, that's what you saw. No, that's all on video, right?
Yeah.
And then when I said they were going to be sued, they ramped up their attacks with the police, showing they don't want the doors open to the larger and bigger picture of what's really going on. And those are all cover-ups to try to make it look like I'm a public nuisance. Right, the mass attacks. Attack Kevin. We can't set him up, so now we're going to fabricate all the things we did to Kevin on this piece of paper, but one of those things they were trying to say I was masturbating in the bathroom, and they were mad at me for calling it out because they had turned the lights off on me 14 times in the bathroom, part of it on video and things like that. So they went around saying I'm masturbating in public and this and that. Well, even you said, how would they know if I'm masturbating in the bathroom?
Yeah, that's your business. There's no way they would know.
Yeah, unless they have spy cameras in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
And if they have spy cameras in the bathroom, there's bigger issues whether someone masturbated in the bathroom or not.
Right. Absolutely, because that's a complete invasion. Totally illegal. So there's no way, like, that's your business.
Yeah.
That's your,
So those are some of the things they're trying to cover up, and then you'll notice I have some other video at different locations. Then I've supposedly masturbated at these different locations. You get the idea. Now they went for years, different things. First it was I'm watching porno at all the coffee beans, and as I masturbated in the bathroom at Starbucks, right? But none of it exists.
Right.
They're just fabrications. And they sort of escalate on these things, like maybe I go do a photo shoot with a model, and they go, oh, well, because he did a photo shoot with a model, Now we're going to say he masturbated in the bathroom at a public place. And then you would question, well, how do they know?
They did the photo shoot?
Correct, right? So these boundaries of every single minute detail are being collected and twisted and contorted in larger and larger worldwide circles, trying to set me up, frame me, make me look crazy, make me look like a public nuisance, all based on private information. I mean, not 100% private, but still, those people are going to talk within their small circles. It's not going to instantly go worldwide to every coffee shop or restaurant worldwide. And when I say that instantly, I mean within minutes, it's transmitted across the entire planet. Okay, well, who's capable of doing that?
Not me.
Right? I mean,
I don't know.
It takes someone with lots of money and resources and internet-based tools. In this case, NSA level tools with the police and government, building systems around me, especially starting in 1994 when the internet came around to program, maim, torture, kill, and ratchet down more and more until they can try to get me to threaten people or go after people and make me look like a violent paranoid schizo, right? And those labels change every single day.
And at one time, you didn't know what was going on, you said, and so you kind of like you're with your mom and stuff, and you saw all these doctors and all these people, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, around 29, my mother
Right.
said my past caught up with me. I mean, that's pretty significant. My father said I know what I did. A Starbucks employee at Topanga and Ventura, Garrett, said it's my transgressions. Okay, so right there, in black and white, you know people are accusing you of crimes.
So when you ask what you did, your dad, right? You know what you did? Like that's his
All
response.
of them play the same game. You're a criminal, you know what you did, you're a monster, it's your behavior, you're out of control, blah, blah, blah. And then I say, well, what did I do? Not one would answer. Not one. My mother, I never said that. My father, after saying you know what you did, he said, well, when people do something, they're not told what they do because they can lie. Well, that's a psychotic murdering behavior. Sure, I walk up to you, you know what you did, and then I grab a pickaxe, bam, in your head, okay?
Right, that's different.
That's the same exact thing that's going on, just not on a mental level. Right? That's a physical level. But the mental level is the gang stalking. You know what you did, so we're going to mentally bludgeon you to death with identical cars and twos showing up at your house every day until your brain swells
And it makes you feel crazy.
Yeah,
like,
and then
the
with enough mental anguish, you break down and die, right? Or something really bad happens, or you react and they go, oh, well, he hallucinates and he just went after you, right? That's the entire concept of gang stalking or gaslighting.
Will you tell, like what you told me, how you described what happens to you every day? It's like, it's horrendous. And so, like what you go through, like the hot poker thing, you know?
I mean, my description was the psychological abuse is like someone cramming a cattle prod up your ass every 5 minutes. Except gang stalking, nobody touches you, so it's okay to inflict pain according to the police.
It's incredibly painful. Like this is torment. It's not. It's like your analogy was like. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and
like,
then
it's, you know.
But it doesn't. But that the criteria for a crime: motive, premeditation, execution. Okay? There's nothing in the law books that says you have to touch someone for it to be a crime. That's only assault or battery. Crime. I want to kill that person, so I put poison in their food. You didn't touch him. You had a reason, motive. You executed your premeditated thought, I want to kill them. And that's the crime of murder. It has nothing to do whether you touch someone or you don't touch someone. And the cops damn well know this. But when you saw these events down here at the Starbucks. Okay, so let me refresh your memory. You saw the video, and it was actually 2 days of video. I think I only showed you the last day. I go down there. They have a Mike Wexler look-alike.
Someone
Someone that told me I'm not allowed to take pictures originally my brother's friend at University of Colorado. I don't want to go into the beginning of how it associates with my brother and all of his friends, who has threatened me to put me, he and his friends are going to put me in a mental institution. But they had a Mike Wexler lookalike, and they had a porn star Kiera Noir lookalike in the Jamba there. And I was rattling off how when I arrived there was an undercover security guard waiting in a car that didn't work there, trying to be all stealth. I talk about on video the Mike Wexler lookalike and how he's signaling over to security. How instantly when I go into Jamba and come out, another security guy goes instantly in. How I say the police are probably going to show up on video, and instantly the police show up and they go into the Jamba. So you've seen all this on video, right? So how is it that I'm rattling these things off? What's going to happen? Who's security? Who's undercover? Or citizens working with the police or security? If I'm some crazy guy, I mean, how am I rattling this off before it happens?
Right. Well, because it's happened numerous times.
Correct, right? And so you learn to read how these groups signal to one or the other. And these things happen. And in that, just that one video, we had police following, we had police presence, we had security presence, we had tons of citizens, and then in between all that, we had the clothing patterns. Remember all the grays and blacks? What was it? Black pants, solid black pants, solid gray shirts. You saw like what, 10, 15?
Almost everyone, honestly.
Right? Okay, so the police will say that I'm crazy and these are all perfectly normal human behaviors. But last I checked, is mass conspiracies of people told to do things to someone in patterns is not normal. So you see what happens each and every time I go to the police for help on audio and video, and each and every time they tell me they won't help me and try to cover up the incident, stop me from getting help, or say I'm delusional, and it didn't happen. We sort of talked about that. I think last month, what was the video? Oh, that's right, I showed you the video of after about the 6th police attempt to break in my house, and one time Dincy's little police buddies posing as FBI, and trying to break in trying to see if the door's unlocked and things like that.
And dumping those things on your...
Oh yeah, taking the box and pouring the popcorn and then getting caught on camera and going, oh no, what do we do now? And then knocking, right? While on audio, you heard it, right? See if the door's unlocked. Okay, so cops don't do that. They don't try to break in people's houses.
Unless they have a warrant and a cause to,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Like that. No, what I saw was definitely abnormal. I've never, it was what did they say?
FBI. They said they were FBI at the same time checking the door. Is the door unlocked?
There were like 6 individuals there for one person.
And that was the day after they tried to set me up at the park.
Can you remind me?
Remember the video?
Was there
remember the video of okay, remember, Dincy doesn't want me at the park. Same with the rest of the world. But Dincy has threatened me over and over, basically saying in his own way, I don't leave my house. So Dincy doesn't want me ever leaving my house because my house apparently is my cage, kind of like Maggie, the cage my father locked our English sheepdog in when it had the entire backyard to run around in for half of its life, or more than half of its life. Same weird things are being done to me. Dincy coming out on 2 calls, this was years ago, at the park, and the same within a half an hour, 2 calls, Kevin's taking a walk in the park, come out and thug him. Dincy comes out with an Ellen Barkin lookalike, ironically, and she wasn't doing anything policey. I don't even know if...
I don't know if you've talked to me about
No, I haven't, actually.
Okay.
She looked like a fake. I can't tell you, but she looked like a fake. But she had a resemblance of Ellen Barkin, and they do this type of thing a lot, try to flip me out. But Dincy basically comes out. First, different cops come out. They say you're doing, I can't remember, they say you're harassing people. I'm simply sitting on a bench minding my own business. And then he leaves, and then I start to take another lap around the park, sit on a bench, and then they say you're on private property or this or that. And Dincy's telling me, while at the park, you're on private property. Now, Dincy, I'm at the park. Look, am I on private property? Right? And at the same time, sprinklers are hitting me in the head and this and that. And he says, go home. I can arrest you. I can do this. You better go home. Well, I don't think, technically, I didn't have to leave the park because it's a public place.
Right.
But I decided to leave to see what he did and make sure that I photographed everything. And then I took a walk. I defied him, so to speak, but nothing illegal. I took a walk to the Gateway Plaza shopping center to get food, and guess what? He followed me to the Gateway Plaza parking lot, and he said, didn't I tell you to go home? Well, wait. The cops' only role is to stop or prevent crime, not even really prevent it, just a crime in progress, to come out. And if the cops come out and you're not committing a crime, they can't really tell you to go home. Right. But I left anyways to see what he'd do. And I was at the Gateway Plaza getting like Fat Burger or something, and he saw me and he's like, didn't I tell you to go home? I said, well, I left the park and I'm going to get food. And he was huffy and puffy and like a 10-year-old kid, well, go home. Losing control. A control freak losing control, right? But wait, so you're saying if someone calls you with a lie about some park incident, or let's say it's true, and then you leave and you go somewhere else, and then Dincy shows up, or the other cops, because they do this from cop to cop, just like there's cop cars out here all the way in Thousand Oaks, 3 times this week, or in the last 3 visits following me to this shopping center. If I left the park, why do I have to go home? Why can't I go get food or go to my friend's house or go here? Why do I have to stay in my house?
Did you ask him?
No, of course not, because you're not talking about irrational people. You're talking about psychotics with a badge. And remember, I've had death threats before that from Officer Toro. If you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way. Right. Well, it's not illegal to take pictures.
And most of the time, you're not even, from everything I've seen, it's not you filming people. It's you filming your surroundings, and if people are in the frame,
it's both, but you have to understand
it's not
the situation from the beginning.
Correct. It's not
the
just
situation from the beginning. Are people mad because I got into studio photography on sets? What does that have to do? Linking back to Mike Wexler, 95. You're not allowed to take pictures of people. We're going to drive down to San Diego with San Diego PD set up operations for taking a photography class at the University of Colorado, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the progression starts with a girl named Aubrey Fisher sent after me, introduced through Rhodey Morales, working with the LAPD on these setup operations and frame job operations who want to take me to strip clubs, the 4th person since 20, in different states. Then Aubrey Fisher, well, because you're taking pictures of pretty women from websites like Model Mayhem or One Model Place, we don't want you doing that. But wait, what does that have to do with crimes? Right? And why does Aubrey Fisher care, who's posing to be an ex-stripper and one of those hostess girls and this, right?
Yeah.
And she's playing this game that's about jealousy and this and that. But that's not what it's about. It's about someone that doesn't want Kevin Burlman getting in the studio photography. And then what happens is people start following you, hunting you, and stalking you. And then enough's enough, you got to get proof. And then they try to curb the argument from we don't want doing studio photography to you're taking pictures of people attacking you, which is still not a crime. And then they play this game like, well, that could be offensive. Well, sure, but so is killing you. Okay, so Brittany's kind of taking charge of the conversation, but we only have an hour, so, and I'll talk forever, and trust me, the intricacies of my life going all the way back to 5 years old, I can just go forever because all these events connect from here to there, and they're all really spooky and creepy and freaky and unheard of. So I want to try to stick on topic because we only have about an hour left, and so I want to make sure we get these read, and then we can kind of have a free-for-all after that. We already explained. I mentioned here that tons of this evidence of proof were shown to the police, and they refused to acknowledge it. We kind of already went through that. Tons of death threats by people working with the police refusing help. Even out away from Woodland Hills, out here on Thousand Oaks, we also really went through that. But the point I was making is, where I'm out here in Thousand Oaks, not Woodland Hills. Set of operations with lead officer Dincy at the park. He doesn't want me going to, or anything else for that matter, showing up the next day trying to break in my house and ask questions if you can't break into the house to use against me. This done over and over, and working with private citizens in illegal community activities. So that was kind of, I think I kind of got curved a little. We were talking about me at the park and what you saw on video with the girl trying to reel me in to go after the homeless under Sean Dincy's duress and his illegal neighborhood watch groups, which aren't neighborhood watch groups, they're neighborhood stalking programs to eradicate imperfection and create like the superior race, or we don't want homeless in our neighborhood, so we're going to just rid them of the world, right? So you saw that on video, right? Remember?
I saw the woman ask, you were walking around the park, right?
Yeah, I'm walking.
And asking if you would go in and help that girl, right? Because she was in there putting her makeup on in the restroom or something.
First it was, hey, why are you looking away from me? Remember that? Like the mobster type of personality. And then it's, can you help me? Because my friend's in the bathroom and the door doesn't have a lock and there's a homeless guy by the door trying to set me up for something. And then her saying, will you take a picture of him? And me saying, well, I'll take a picture of everyone, showing that I'm kind of like, I don't want to say fair and balanced because it's a very Fox News thing, but neutral, that everyone gets, if there's a story, it's coming from every side, not just one person. And then them getting mad, probably saying, well, Kevin took a picture of me, even though she asked to take a picture, right? With Sean Dincy coming up the next day, sort of working all his angles on multiple things, but wanting to ask me questions of things that he could use against me, try to lock me away, throw me in jail, right? So you saw that, and the timing, I mean, the very next day, right after that, and the entire situation is on video. This is what I'm trying to do from the lady, showing that she's thugging the homeless. She's going after these poor people that have enough problems as it is, right? And she's not working alone. She's not some random angry citizen going, I'm trying to rid homeless people of the world. They're working with the Topanga Division LAPD.
It's hard. It's like the hard thing is you're not able to just take things at face value because it goes, you know what I mean? Because of everything you've seen and experienced and been through. Like, someone who doesn't understand what your life is like every single day would be like, oh, it's just like some lady asking you to like whatever. But no, it's like so much deeper. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people could be thinking like, okay, so what? Sorry, bleep that. Well, like homeless lady or whatever.
Well, I think the average person doesn't want to know those details. It's just when there's situations that are so deep, such deep conspiracies with going up the ladder of people that they don't want those names coming out of the situations. And so to kind of get to the point, Dincy is not like on his Facebook, the screenshots I have or whatever, or him posting, hey, neighborhood watch meeting is canceled, or we have a neighborhood watch meeting. They aren't neighborhood watch meetings. They're neighborhood stalking meetings with the entire LAPD's knowledge, and it goes up to the ladder to multiple divisions across the United States and security companies, all sorts of illegal operations. It has nothing to do with crime. Okay? Being homeless is not a crime. Having problems is not a crime.
No, it's
These are not crime.
No, and homeless.
But
it is not easy to be homeless. Like, that's not.
They got enough
wrong.
problems, right?
It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, they're looking for their next meal. They don't know where to take a shower. Dincy, that's right. Dincy's Facebook account linked that event Remember the Facebook screenshot I gave you of Dincy stating the homeless lady, it was actually a homeless lady in the bathroom who told one of the people in the Warner Center area that she lives in the bathroom and she has to fix her makeup or something. So ironically, obviously living in the bathroom isn't a literal, but it doesn't matter because these groups of people under Dincy and the LAPD's orders or go after this person because they're using a restroom to fix their makeup because they don't have a house.
Right.
Okay? That's pretty strange.
Yeah, it's sad. Honestly,
right? I mean,
it makes me sad.
So people are being stalked, other than me, but I seem to be the biggest target because nobody wants to speak out.
And you said people with, would you say problems, issues, struggle, something like that?
All the above. Remember, Dincy's Facebook states that people with mental illness could possibly in the future be a problem, so they need to be watched or forced into mental institutions.
They should be, like, able to get the help they need. Like,
correct, but what,
not be forced anywhere.
We've had, I don't want to go too deep in this, but we've had several conversations about the label of crazy, the label of mentally ill. What is mental illness? I mean, did you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend and for 6 months you're depressed, so you need to be forced into a mental institution and never have any life again because you're crazy and suffer from? Of course not, right?
No.
And most people that are actually clinically mentally ill, about 90%, are harmless.
Oh,
anyways.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing. Is like everybody you hear the word like crazy or schizophrenic.
I mean, some girl that's an info or in a porn or whatever could be good. Oh, she's crazy because she screws everyone. But the relativity of crazy from one person's lifestyle to the next doesn't actually mean crazy, and what actually is crazy, right? They're not definable. It's a vague label.
Correct. Exactly. Everybody's a little crazy.
Okay, so that person's label. That person, according to Dincy, that person's crazy. There's no room for them in society.
Yeah.
But what did they do? That doesn't matter because they're crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like you said. Like there's so many people with mental illness, whatever, like how you categorize it, and like you said, a very, very, very small percentage of them are violent or have ever been violent.
Correct. Like, and the police's job is to
help them.
Well, but the police's job... No, the police's job has nothing to do with mental illness. The police's job is to stop crime.
Correct.
Crimes in progress, or crimes that have been committed, which obviously are going to be huge crimes.
But by being, like you said, having a mental illness does not equal crime.
Correct. So if someone actually clinically suffers from depression, is it Dincy or Topanga Division's LAPD to say, we're going to force you in a mental institution and you're not allowed to live with anyone else in society?
That'd be doing more harm.
Okay, so they're not acting as police officers, they're acting as psychotic, like Hannibal Lecter psychiatrists, right? Like something out of a horror movie with a psychology degree, right? Or Dr. Giggles or something, right?
I would really like to talk to them. Like, I would.
That would never happen, but I would say give it a try, but they'll shut you down in the front door. But remember, this isn't just Dincy. I've had these conversations with Shapiro and Detective Angela Stewart. You're crazy. And I said, I have these phone recorded. I said, so? What does that have to do with anything? I mean, whether someone wants to call me crazy or not is irrelevant if I'm walking in and someone's attacked me with their dog and it's on video.
That's what I'm saying. Correct. Like, it has nothing to do with your mental state or whatever else.
Correct.
It's just the actual
even if I am crazy, it's the police's job to stop the crime, right?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, there's evidence of a crime being committed, has been committed, you're bleeding. Like, why are they dismissing that?
And that's the question. Why?
Yeah.
What is it do they have to hide?
Right.
Right?
It doesn't make sense why they would just dismiss that. There's some, you know what I mean when I say that.
There's something hanging over their head that they don't want coming out, right? Okay, so, does it appear that Officer Sean Dincy, Toro, Jensen, and most others are all working outside the boundaries of the law? I mean, but still. For
Can
the
you?
record.
Do you mean anything specifically when you're saying boundaries of the law? Like,
Well, boundary, like as we just said, that the job of the police is to protect, serve, stop crimes.
correct.
And that is it.
Yeah.
So, does it appear that Officer Sean Dempsey, Officer Toro, if you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way. By the way, I doubt a real name because he openly gave it before talking to me, and he's hinting about people sent after me in Southern Oregon State. Officer Jensen, who came after me after tweeting to a girl named Louisa Jensen, linking it to Jen Hess sent after me by the LAPD, Mike Huntley and Paul Humphreys. Does it appear that Officer Sean Dempsey, Toro, Jensen, and most others in the LAPD or police are all working outside the boundaries of the law?
Right. Well, like you just said, I'll exercise the law in my own way, right?
Correct.
So that implies in itself that
There is
boundaries
no law.
don't matter.
Right? They're not following laws. That's my. They're not. If a police officer, let me rephrase it. If a police officer says, "I think I'm a psychiatrist and I think you're crazy, so we're going to lock you away," Dempsey, is he operating outside the boundaries of the law?
Well, yeah, because he's not a psychiatrist.
Correct. Okay, that would be the correct answer. Okay, so we're on the same wavelength that these police officers aren't police officers. They're corrupt. Okay. You haven't been out at Thousand Oaks with me, but have seen photos, videos outside the building within minutes of going outside from the groups of strangers coordinating attacks, which isn't even close to where I live. And remember, we were only out there for less than a half an hour the other day. But can you kind of reiterate what you remember seeing?
Well, I did see the clothing, the patterns.
Okay, do you remember what you saw?
Camo.
Okay,
black
yeah,
and white,
camo was one.
And I did hear several horn clicks.
Okay, well, the horns and twos and threes, which I have, I talk about on my website. I have proof on my website, but it's extremely hard to edit together, so you really understand the magnitude. But I literally have like thousands in one day and things like that all over Los Angeles directed me. But okay, so you saw that, and do you remember, which actually was just done to me a half an hour before coming here today, down at Thousand Oaks Fish and Chips and the bagel place next door, the two people that showed up, blue shirts and white horizontal stripes at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
There were the flower pattern groups. I don't know if they were coming out when
You
you were there.
told me about that.
Okay, so last week or the week before, groups of people all at the same time wearing flower print clothing. There was one more. Oh, that's right, the green and blacks and the green and black guy and the green and black Mini Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
You saw them, okay. So they started ramping up the green and blacks in the last week. And this isn't just here, this is around my house too. So coming out of my house, people waiting for me in green and blacks and things like that. But, I mean, so you've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen it.
There was something else called, like you were saying, it's like more calm when we were there than usual.
Yeah, it has ramped down. Well, okay, so what are the other things you probably noticed or that I told you happening in this right here, in this parking lot, do you remember?
The cars, the people.
Just some of the other things, not necessarily last week, but some of the things I showed you.
With the police?
Just the events, the stalking, and the police, but the stalking events. So like last week, the police showed up, two of them. Today, two police cars are pointed in this back corner, pointed both backwards together in pairs of twos backwards, pointed looking at where they had a girl in a pink Corvette follow me named Angeline.
I remember.
Now, Angeline, you saw other videos on that setup attempt video a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, at Woodland Hills Coffee Bean, where with the security guard you mentioned yelling at me that I'm weird and like following y'all across like 100 yards across the lot, trying to jump in front of my car, trying to make it look like I'm trying to hit her and things like that while yelling at me.
Screaming at you, yeah.
And you saw in the video that I had done nothing but walk into a coffee bean, buy a coffee, sit down for 10 minutes, and groups of people show up stalking me and trying to set me up, right?
The groups, you mean like the two I'm talking about with the white, the
Like,
pink
remember
and the blue
I have a video online and I showed you back to back. I go down to one Starbucks, people start provoking me, cops show up in hopes they can get a reaction, and then I go to the coffee bean either that night or the next day, and and I narrate on the camera. I'm walking in, I'm buying coffee, I'm sitting here minding my own business. Here's Angeline with her pink Corvette. The couple, the girl with the pink shirt matching the pink Corvette, trying to expose that I'm some kind of creep following her.
What did they say? They said something
They
that
pretended
wasn't
to
kind.
be these touristy,
Faces.
oh, is that her? There she is. I'm following her. Something like that extent, in hopes that I would say, yeah, I'm doing that too.
Right.
And they didn't get the answer they wanted, so they started blurting out the cryptic stalking mimics. And then I narrate in the camera, see something freaking is going on. The cops were waiting here, pointing towards her car. She's waiting here. I go in. I'm coming out. These pink people are showing up. Something's about to happen. I think I say all that in camera. And then within like 5 minutes, starting to leave, the security guard following me as if I'm stalking the Angeline girl, exposing themselves that they're involved in setup and frame job operations, right? And then her following out here a couple weeks ago.
With the pink Corvette.
Yeah, and now the cops have been out each and every time, and working with Jason Sweats with the little blackmailing threat tactic. I don't talk to Brittany.
And what was all that he said? You need to be professional, or did he say anything else? Because you're very professional.
Well, he was mad. He was trying to make up things like there's cards everywhere and this and that, and I'm doing this. But they're sort of linking it back to the first time I came in here, maybe 5 months ago. And I don't want to get too deep because I have more questions.
Okay. We can get back to
well, let me do it. I come in here 5 months ago. People start provoking me like usual. I pass out cards in self-defense. This is the truth. The Rhonda girl at the front desk getting mad because she doesn't want the truth coming out. Then trying to collect it and use it. He's a public nuisance because he's passing out cards. And then her telling you she doesn't want cards passed out in the office. And me saying, okay, fine. And me stating to Brittany here, and you can tell her that that's fine, but that's not going to stop the cards or me talking about my life anywhere else in the world. And them exposing themselves, showing that that's not enough. That's not really about this building and inside. It's about something much bigger. And if I stop passing out cards in the building, like she says, but still talk to people about my life, they don't stop and they get angrier and angrier. Why is that? Right? Because she's not mad that the cards are being passed out. She's mad about what they're trying to cover up and people they know what they're involved in because they don't want the truth coming out so that the people they know look like bad psychotic murderers like they are. Does that make sense?
I lost you a little bit.
Okay.
No, I think I get what you're saying.
For example, Kevin's a bad person because he did all these things, so we're justified in following him around, killing him, or making him mentally ill, or ridding him of the world.
Okay.
But wait, the truth is Kevin didn't do anything. Kevin doesn't know what this is even about. What if that got out? Now, even though there's no excuse for becoming a vigilante with worldwide conspiracies, there is no excuse no matter what. There's no justification. But now what if you find out that for 40 years, mass groups are hunting someone down to eradicate him, and they were lied to? It's all based on lies. Kevin, according to the police, Kevin supposedly killed someone. I supposedly killed someone. Remember, these lies change. These are in the thousands. They change from thing to thing. Police walk up to you and they say, Brittany, that guy killed someone. I want you to help us rid them of the world. You say okay. Then the truth comes out. Oh, Kevin didn't do anything. Now you're aiding and abetting a crime. Although you were always aiding and abetting a crime, you just didn't know it if you have no common sense.
Well, I would have wanted to investigate even before I had agreed to that. Like, how do you know that? Like, do you know this dude?
But most the average sane
Yeah.
person goes, "That's your deal."
What the hell?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
If a cop comes up to me, Kevin, we want you to help us go after that guy like they did to Terrence Scroggins. I say, get the fuck away from me.
Right.
That's your job. That's not my job.
Exactly.
My job's going out, making money, living my life, having friends and relationships. Your job, Mr. Uniform and Badge, is to stop crime. And for Mr. Uniform and Badge to walk up to me and say, Kevin, I want you to become a vigilante for me. Well, any time that person, like Terrence Scroggins, interacts and says, I'm going to become a police officer, he's not a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a criminal. The police can't tell you, whether it's a neighborhood watch group or anything else, to take part in pretending to be a police officer.
Right.
The girl at the park was committing a crime, going after people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the point. Is they're aiding and abetting murder operations, stalking operations, and outside the boundaries, a lawyer or an accountant or a therapist or a gas station owner, which is contacted by a police officer saying, hunt down and kill that person because they're criminals, is committing a crime by taking the law in their own hands, whether they're told to by a police officer or not. Because at no point are they police officers. They didn't go to police academies, they don't have badges, they don't have badge numbers, they're not in a system of police, so they're just citizens committing crimes. Okay, do you see the cover-up? Okay, so anyways, so what is your opinion as to whether or not the police know this could be going on and done in my life?
All these things that you've been trying to show them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly it's very factual. Like, you can't really deny the videos and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
I mean...
So, you know, if they have seen the video, they know. Period. Right? Like the dog attacks and all these things. Like,
well, I'm asking you. I mean, I already know.
No, I think that completely, like, when I saw that, I was appalled. I'm like, how could they not?
I mean, how could you not...
See,
you have a video of a guy unleashing... I'll leave out the fact that I know it's a police-trained canine and the fact that I'm watching him make the dog attack on cue, but it's all on video that he's attacking me with a dog. The 7 tire slashings, some more vague than others, but some 2 tire slashings in one day. 2012, my Jaguar, two tires at the same time. Top slashings, car, right? The constant spit on the car every day, the fag written on the car, the bitch, the 187 working with Victoria Walker, sent after me 20 years ago by Brian Longboth. All these things, not only on the website, which I've given the police like 1 million cards. Here, help me. This is what's going on with the card of my website.
Right. But
nothing's. I'm imagining it.
But you're not, because it's hard fact evidence.
Yeah. And now they're trying to cover it up, saying, well, it's because you're a public nuisance, so people are angry.
But that's still not okay, if that were the case.
Correct,
you know? So it's like, regardless of everything else that there's no quote-unquote like evidence of, you gave, these are hardcore facts, the dog bite, the vandalism of the car, these are all crimes. And they're doing nothing about it.
Correct.
So,
you know. Your opinion as to why?
That's what I want to ask them, you know?
Yeah.
Truly, I would like to.
Well, I can tell you what they would tell you. They'd say Kevin's crazy and Kevin's a public nuisance and Kevin's imagining it and blah blah blah. And the things they've
but that's
tried to never directly say, but had played this thugging game, right? People come up and ask me questions, and then I'll start to tell them, and then they'll go ballistic on me and attacking me, and then they'll try to make me think that if someone thinks you're crazy, they're a dead man, and that's how life is, right? It's like, that's not how life is.
No. Yeah, I would really like to.
Okay. So, have you ever heard if such a thing...
Even if someone is a criminal.
Okay, have you ever heard of such a thing if someone really is a criminal? So if someone, let's say someone supposedly killed someone, like they're saying to me, but let's say they're actually not a suspect, but they're a criminal. They have proof. Let's say, like for me, they're like I said, one of these thousands of accusations is that I supposedly killed someone, but there's no body, and they've even taken my DNA. There's no body. There's no actual crime. There's just you killed someone. Just like you're crazy, but know why. You killed someone, but there's no body or crime scene. Okay, let's say there is someone that actually has killed someone. Have you ever heard of such a thing like this done to them.
Like to such a wide, broad extent, everywhere.
Correct. I mean, I know
No.
you see things in movies like on the so and so kills someone. We have but have you ever seen? Remember, I'm not told what I've done.
Right. And you didn't do these things. Like
No, but
you've
they want
never...
confessions from you, right? They want these coerced, false confessions. And of course, it jumps from thing to thing. But what I'm asking is, have you ever seen anything like this? Whether it's to a criminal or a suspect or...
No.
Right, no, you haven't.
Mm-mm.
And neither have I. I've never heard of anything. I've never seen anything anywhere in the world.
Right. I'm assuming that's why it was so hard for you to fathom at first, why it took you a long time to figure
Well, because nothing's directly
crap,
said. You're watching a planet full of angry, enraged people for no reason, which I still walk around every day going, I don't understand. Each person I have any type of interaction with wants me dead, gone, removed from society, or killed, but there's no reasoning, just weird statements like, you know what you did.
And you're like, but what did I do?
But why can't I know?
Right.
And
It's a
doesn't that
scary
strike you as very strange?
Yeah. I mean, I would be really scared. I would be really, like, uneasy all the time. Like, I just... You know what I mean? I mean, obviously I do. But it's just...
And that's the entire concept of gang stalking, is to make someone look paranoid. And what is paranoid? I think something's going on, but it's not. And then try to bring it out to the violence level to get me to hit someone or try to kill someone or threaten someone's life. Even what Mike Huntley told me at 29, I can't remember the exact words, but he basically told me he wanted me to, like, how do I say this? He said something in context that, not directly, that he wanted me to threaten someone's life or something. As if it was all scripted out, just weird, freaky. Right. Okay, but and then I was arrested for 422 criminal threat after calling the police and telling them that they needed to put a stop to these people doing these things, and then them turning it around on me.
That's weird. That doesn't make
any
type of sense.
And then telling me that, for example, when they had Bailey Bernard attack me and try to block my gate and stop me from going in my house, they said that I assault and batteried him, turning it around just like everything else. Right?
Even though you didn't do anything to him.
No, I tried to get away from him, and if I did break out after he hit the keys out of my hand while blocking the gate, and of course me calling 911 first, but they don't care because
you're trying to get help.
Correct, and they won't help, and then they go, well, you're a violent paranoid schizo and you attack this guy. But how do they... Okay, first off, how do they know that I'm a violent paranoid schizo? That's the first question.
Right.
Okay? How would they get that information? Because that would be illegal. They're acting illegally based on a label or an opinion. But second of all, let's say I was a violent paranoid schizo and some guy attacked me.
If you defend yourself.
Correct, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
that's what I was going to say.
Even if I was, and we can take the violent out or whatever. Let's just say I was a paranoid schizo but you could throw the violent in there as well. But let's just say I was a paranoid schizo and someone attacks me and the police go, well, you're a violent paranoid schizo, so we're not going to help you. But how do they know?
Right.
How does this one incident apply to that label or profile, right?
Well,
it doesn't.
How would they know that about you, period? Two, if that were the case, it has nothing to do with if somebody assaults you and you defend yourself.
Yeah. So what they're doing is just like my father and Mike Huntley told me, Kevin, you're not allowed to defend yourself. Literally, I'm not allowed to defend myself, even the First Amendment freedom of speech, or there will be harsh ramifications, which is very strange. Okay, so do you think that I am capable of what Officer Dinsey claims while sending people like Victoria Walker after me and the endless others working the same angle since 5 years old?
Capable of hurting somebody? Is that what you mean?
Capable of hurting, violent paranoid schizo, capable of hurting, a danger to myself or others, and Dinsey's most recent claims that I've supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, his older claims that I'm like the Vegas shooter or the Unabomber working with Victoria Walker.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so 5 months after...
Here's the thing, like 5150, like you said, it's if somebody's like going to be a harm or could be a harm to themselves or somebody else. Like, No, you are not.
Which is a
You're
temporary thing. A 5150
Temporary
isn't a
hold.
long-term. There's no such
72
thing
hour
as
hold.
he's a long-term crazy violent guy.
No.
Law and violence is based on short-term events. So a 5150, some guy flipped out and went crazy. Worst case scenario, they check him in for a temporary.
He's out in 3 days unless
Correct.
they extend it, which that's still only 14.
Correct. So there's no real such thing like Dincy's Facebook account, which says forcing people into mental institutions
that's
is institutionalization or
yeah. That's not that. Okay. That
putting
whole
people
thing,
in institutions that he doesn't like or approve of.
No, there has to be like solid ground for that.
Yeah, and so to try to make Kevin look like he's a crazy, ongoing public nuisance is their agenda. But
You've never been violent? No, absolutely not. Like, if I thought that about you, I wouldn't be working with you. You know, if I did not feel safe, like we sure wouldn't have been working together in therapy for like 5 months.
Yeah.
You know, so that's completely false.
Yeah. And then some of their other claims are, I think I'm Jesus, and I think I'm the Messiah, and I think I'm a hero, and like the whole delusion of grandeur.
You never said anything that would make me think you got that ever.
Yeah, but that's some of their tactics to try to push me to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I actually already asked. Why do you think that they refuse to look at any of the proof or evidence of what is being done to my life? Well, we kind of covered that. Okay, would you say passing out cards to these endless worldwide mass attackers, letting them know they've been lied to, is pretty justified in my self-defense?
I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with you passing out your cards. What lady at the front desk told me to ask you or tell you is that in this building you can't pass out cards if you don't have an office here. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, trying to turn
sense.
it into some kind of professional.
So then I asked you, and you've been very respectful about that. Like I haven't seen a single one of your cards in.
But I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about in general.
No, I'm saying it's
worldwide.
You're doing that. You're handing them a card, a business card. People do that every day.
And the police are trying to say that I'm a public nuisance, and
If
people don't want my cards.
And if that's the case, okay, but like you're not doing anything illegal, is what I'm saying. Like I've seen a public nuisance, like you've shown me photos of your truck with all the cards shoved in and like, all that stuff. That's different.
Yeah.
You know, into your window so it won't go up and down. Like if people don't want your card, they don't have to take it.
Correct. Although the police are trying to make up lies and I'm forcing cards on people as the next angle of theirs. But that's not really, I don't want to get into the police's actions because we know they're dug so deep in these 40-year operations, they'll do anything to cover it up. Including probably trying to gnaw off my arms and legs with their mouths if they have to. But I'll restate the question just for the hell of it. Would you say that passing out cards to these endless worldwide mass attackers, letting them know they've been lied to, is pretty justified? I know you already answered it, but just to reinforce.
I think, you passing out cards is totally...
Like, First Amendment, these people won't leave me alone, they need to stop pursuing me, stop following me, you've been lied to.
All you're doing is giving information.
Yeah, correct. And so people cruise around with business cards. Here's a card, go to my dry cleaning business or whatever, and nobody cares. Now their argument is, well, you pass out a lot of cards, but I met with person after person that wants me dead.
Right. So you pass out a lot of cards, but here's the thing, like, they want you to stop passing them out, right?
Correct.
But are you ever going to?
If the attack stops, sure.
Okay. So it's like...
I'll be honest with you in the video. I will never stop speaking out about the last 42 years of my life.
Right.
But I don't want to have to exert the energy of physically passing out cards.
Like you've said.
And it's all been in self-defense. Example, let's say I go to the restaurant down there and 15 people show up in black pants and white shirts, and every person in the place mimics my Twitter, Facebook, or other conversations. In self-defense, I hand them a card. This is the truth because you're taking turns in anger and rage on me, and something needs to stop.
You want it to stop. That's the
correct.
Behind it. You don't want to have to be doing.
Correct. So if I don't have to physically pass out cards, hand people cards, whatever, that's great. Now, is the website coming down, and what
I'm not saying
the
that.
42 years of crimes against me. No, people have the right to actively seek out the truth and read about it.
Right.
And that's why the police were so mad when I was writing books. And
Have there been complaints about your website too? From the
they
police
keep
and stuff?
switching different angles. People play this game like, well, the website's doing something to my computer. I mean, just the most obscene things. I'm like, well, what is it? Or like monsters coming out of the screen or something,
Right, yeah.
And then they jump to, are there pop-up ads? Well, who asked that? Nobody will ask that.
Right.
Hey, here, go to my website. There's information about this stuff. Are there pop-up ads? Come on, people don't. People
Right.
don't. How many people you know talk like that? They don't, right? Unless they're like
I don't know.
super paranoid.
I don't know.
So they're trying to sort of turn things around and get me to say something. Go, this website's evil and it's a scam and this and that. But it's just text, photos, videos, and information like the rest of
Totally.
every website out there, every news channel out there, whatever. The only difference is we don't want you talking.
So what? Go ahead. No, let's finish the
Yeah.
list.
Do you know of anyone that would actually sit around ignoring something like this being done to them?
No, I mean, if this was, every day being done to me, I'd be a process too. I would be miserable, terrified, didn't know what to do, would try and get help, go to the police like you have,
Yeah. But you couldn't ignore it. That's what.
No, I mean, like you described, like you can't because it's like a cattle prod every day.
So let's say you go to a coffee shop or a restaurant and people start showing up doing this to you. And this happens every single place you go, all day, night, 24/7.
Yeah. And you said like.
What would you do? I guess I should ask. Like
you
You
said
can't
before,
ignore it.
I
You
would
just said you
try.
can't ignore
I would
it, right?
try to probably like, oh no, that's not it, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But if it kept happening and happening, like you said, you've tried to like ignore
Yeah.
it, but you can't.
It's like
the
if
same
someone
thing.
keeps giving you a dead arm over and over every few seconds, and this goes for like 40 years.
Right.
Okay, you're saying, okay, stop. Okay, leave me alone. Okay, you can stop now. Okay, I get it. It's funny, but stop. Okay, enough's enough. Okay, stop. And then you start getting away from them, and they keep following you. Okay, stop. But in my case, it's not the same guy. It goes from stranger to stranger, so they can mask it, right? So, what do you think their agenda is? I mean,
That's a big question.
you yourself are saying, with a psychology degree, that you could not ignore it. And I don't think any person
No, I don't
who's a
think
human being can.
If anyone is being just like tortured or like somebody's coming after them every single day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way to ignore it.
Yeah. So what do you think you would do, even though you can't really know?
I would try and get help. I would try and like make it stop, And I think that's what you're doing because you said
Yeah.
information is
And
like
you have.
more.
I don't want to put you on the
That's okay.
rail here because I know you can't really answer the question. But how do you think you would get help? I mean, what would you do?
What you're, like going to the police and telling them.
And they say
then-
we're not going to help you.
I honestly don't know. But that's
Well,
my
you just sort of try to think about what would you. You can't ignore it.
Mhm.
So what would your next?
I would try and get people to help me, like to see,
Like
to
understand it,
understand.
understand
Yeah,
this-
to understand.
Okay, so there you
Yeah,
go, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so that is so. What you're saying is that what's called in gang stalking is actually called normalizing, letting people understand and know, to try to normalize the situation back to normal, so that people understand that. Oh, this is what's really going on, which is very difficult. And it's not like a sure thing, because remember, gang stalking is the very select few, and this isn't even the term gang stalking is a very unofficial term because it's so rare. Community harassment groups, cause stalking, gang stalking, these aren't official terms, right? And so you yourself has just said, I can't ignore it, so you gotta let people know what's going on.
Mhm.
Except in my case, it's you don't talk or we kill you. And if we're not talking one person, we're talking worldwide.
Right. So, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, lead officer Dincy is running around making claims that I am the next Vegas shooter, bomber, and has now filed police reports with Starbucks employees with Topanga Division LAPD working with Starbucks employees to cover up the mass crime spree he is involved in against me. Do I seem like someone that would try to kill all Starbucks customers, or any for that matter? And what do you think about Lead Officer Sean Dinsey?
No, you absolutely are not somebody that would try and kill all Starbucks customers or anybody. I've not seen a violent tendency at all. Zero. Like I don't feel that way at all.
Okay.
Truly. Like in my whatever clinical opinion, whatever it is, you're not. You're a very kind person and you've done nothing of the violent nature at all. You've actually tried to protect people like when you were younger and everything. You told me about that.
Yeah.
So
like Greg Wall, my brother trying to bash Greg Wall's neighborhood problem.
Yeah, and that you got in the middle and tried to stop that from
Now their
happening.
argument is that at 29 I snapped. I'm a crazy man.
Right. And for a while, like, you questioned yourself. Like you said, like, you didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Well, I didn't question myself. I questioned the situation.
Correct. What was happening to you.
I can't believe I'm seeing this. But I never questioned, am I a crazy guy?
No,
Right.
like you said, the situation you were willing to kind of like
it's a difficult situation for anyone to grasp.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if someone's sitting there fantasizing as if it happened to them and how they would react. There's a difference between fantasizing about something that isn't going on versus what's going to happen when it actually happens to you.
You never know.
Now I'm going to have a surprise for you next week. I actually have video footage of the incident where Starbucks employees have called LAPD claiming I threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, and you're going to get to see the event on video showing I haven't threatened anything at all, and they got mad because I have their mass mobbings on video, and they found out that they're on video doing it. Right. So they called the Dinsey crew at Topanga Division.
Did they come?
They didn't come out. That was some of the things they probably wanted to ask me questions, but according to my attorney, Seymour Amster, the Starbucks employee, remember, Dinsey has broken on my property after the break-in attempts, dropping thug letters with Starbucks. Whether they're real or not, we don't know, because Dinsey's a complete nut job. And by the way, that violates all boundaries because police officers don't generally hop fences to drop thug paperwork from coffee shop corporations on you. But anyways, without getting too sidetracked, because they found out I had an entire 2 days linked with multiple Starbucks locations, and then each employee going "man" to me. That's one of the tags. Hey man, how are you? Are you having a good night tonight, man? And me narrating in the camera. See, I just went to this Starbucks, and I think I went to 4 different Starbucks in one night. Simply walked in, bought a coffee, walked out, and each one said, "Hey man, this. Hey man, that." And I narrated the camera. You see, they just did it at this location along with all the other things. And when I walked out, the girl picked up the phone making claims that I threatened to kill all customers.
That didn't happen.
Correct. So you're going to see that next week. Okay, so what do you think of the reasoning? What do you think the reasoning is the police refused to be honest and held me? I think I had that question like 15 times in here, but actually, I think we jumped. That question was meant for the end, but we talked about it. Okay, what is your opinion of Lead Officer Sean Dinsey and he is doing and is involved in?
I would really like to talk to him and see what he has to say. And I would like to ask, why nothing's been done to keep you safe.
Well, because remember, Dinsey's a good guy for the community. He's cleaning up the community. And so he has his neighborhood watch groups, blah, blah, blah. And he's just creating a good, clean, healthy community of perfection. So
what about, that's something I want to ask you too, what do you want to happen? What could happen that would make it better? You better? What would you like to see Dinsey do or whoever else?
Well, first of all, when we talk about my opinion of Dinsey, which is a very accurate opinion, is that man should not be near any job with power, and technically he shouldn't be around any job. But he is corrupt criminal slime, preying off the weak to get to the top, hence now in politics running for City Council District 12, by going after good people that could possibly have problems, could possibly suffer from mental illness, might be homeless, might be an eyesore. Remember, Dincy is here to clean up the streets. But what is Dincy's definition of cleaning up the streets? Eradicate all imperfection. Okay? You've seen set-up operations of the Dincy Neighborhood Stalking Watch crew going after the homeless while trying to set me up.
That lady in the restaurant.
Yeah, like make me part of their mob or gang, right?
Yeah, to get you involved.
Okay, well think about it. What did the homeless guy do? He might smell, he might have ripped clothing, he might... But what did he do, right?
Yeah, nothing that I saw.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, I think there was a different person. On his Facebook account, he mentions a lady who's homeless who goes in and fixes her makeup. But what did she do? It's not a crime to go into a bathroom and fix your makeup because you don't have a house.
Unless she was stealing something.
Or throw some water on your face.
I don't know. Because unless she's stealing something from other people that are in there taking their makeup like she did nothing wrong.
No, his Facebook account. Remember, Dincy also states on his Facebook that he's going after people that have parties or preventing people that could, in the future, from having parties and stop the party crime before it happened. But there's no such crime in having a party.
Right.
There's noise disturbances. I have a party and it's loud and the neighbor gets angry, so the cops are called and the cop comes out. Listen, your neighbors are complaining. Can you shut it down? Sure, okay. But a party itself is not illegal. People have parties all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Okay, so, but to understand Dincy's thought process, he thinks parties are crimes. He thinks mental illness people shouldn't be roaming the earth. He thinks the homeless shouldn't be roaming the earth. He thinks he's big into the pre-crime, right?
Parties.
Profiling. That guy's crazy, so he could be the next Vegas shooter. That guy, when he was 29, according to my family, had a mental break, but that's not what really happened. But whether it is or isn't is irrelevant to Dincy's actions.
Totally.
Okay, so first of all, I'm 47, so what does that have to do with 29? Okay? So what do? You run around. Well, you see that 47-year-old, when he's 29, he had a mental break, so we got to remove him from society because he could possibly be the next Vegas shooter. That doesn't make sense from a rational, sane person.
No.
Okay, so when I say, or more importantly, when Dincy says he's here to create clean, healthy communities and clean up the streets, his definition of cleaning up the streets is kind of like Adolf Hitler's definition of cleaning up Germany in 1940. And the definition of neighborhood watch groups isn't follow someone around all over the entire planet, provoking them with threat after threat. We're watching you and you better not say anything or we'll kill you. Has nothing to do with neighborhood watch groups. A neighborhood watch group is simply a concerned set of individuals. If they see something weird, they call the cops. Correct. So what Dincy is doing is riling up these masses to go after people, trying to make them feel important, like they're special and police officers, and who knows, maybe he's targeting the lonely divorced housewife or something and saying, I can make you feel, he's not going to word it this way, I'm going to make you feel important and help me stop crime and this and that. But like we said before, it's illegal for a citizen to try to stop crime.
Yeah, I mean, I know nothing about the law, but like what you're saying makes sense, you know? Because
they're
not a
It's simple.
the training.
Brittany, I'm a police officer. Look, I have a pretty badge, whether I do or not. It doesn't even matter. So that guy over there killed someone, so I want you to kill them.
I'd be like,
okay.
Huh? Like,
and you say, what's your answer?
I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, no.
Okay, good. That's the correct answer. Yeah. But these people are actually choosing the opposite. Okay, so this is kind of day 2 of my interview with Brittany Henderson. And we're just finishing up some questions that we ran out of time and wanted to talk about, or I wanted to talk about with Brittany. So let's get started. And first thing I wanted to do with Brittany was expand, and this is something we probably should have mentioned in the beginning, but I wanted to expand, and you sort of asked, expand on the tactics, the specific things that are being done to me, because without really having that basis, I don't think people understand. Sure, you could say gang stalking and I'm being stalked and people are following me, but that doesn't really hammer in the specific details of the kind of unheard of tactics. So I'm not going to rattle them off because they're all of them off because they're in the thousands, but I'll rattle off some of the tactics and you could sort of multiply that by thousands to understand that not only is this worldwide, by almost every person I'm in contact with worldwide, instantly notified to take part in doing these things. You can sort of derive from some of the ones I'm going to talk about and apply them to other things. Okay, so first I wanted to just mention a few that come in my head. The first one is whistling. Random strangers will walk by me and they'll whistle. No matter where I go, worldwide, and I used to test the waters and go down to Oxnard or Hollywood, Oxnard. I would drive Laguna, San Diego, and person after person would walk by and whistle at me like 40 times a day, literally. There is, which you mentioned the other day, is the car honking the horns or pushing the alarm button 2 or 3 times when I'm around.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Just so, I mean, people could say that it's coincidence or whatever, but just if you could tell the difference, like how you know it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So I know it's not coincidence because, an example. Remember, first of all, when this started, within 1 week, probably shorter, it went worldwide wherever I went, and I test the waters, but. One parking lot alone, Woodland Hills, Victory, and Canoga, by a Starbucks and a 24-hour fitness, which is a huge lot. There's probably like 10,000 cars or something, just huge. I went to a Jamba there and sat there for like 40 minutes, and I think I probably went into a Starbucks, got a coffee, and walked around. I went to a Togo's there. And then I started passing out cards to people because they wouldn't stop provoking me, but literally recorded on audio and video, I would guesstimate at least 500 honks 2 or 3 times in patterns for people getting out of their cars and parking or coming to their cars, beep beep, or beep beep beep, one sequentially after the next. And then I might go downtown LA and video some of the car patterns, and people see me and they start doing it there too. And then they start passing out cards, and people see me pass out cards, and they get angrier, and they do it more because we don't want you talking. All right. So we're not talking in 1 month's time. I heard it twice. We're talking in 1 or 2 hours, 500 times, literally. And every parking lot I go to worldwide, beep 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 beep. Even getting out of the car, coming in here this morning, I think probably 2 of them in about less than 10 minutes, right? Which is where you heard it the other day, out front here. Right. And this all starts. When does this start? Because one time I got out of my car and I pushed my alarm button, and I wasn't sure if it was armed, so I pushed it again. And my car alarm honked the horn because the car alarm honks the horn, and it honks the horn twice, and they go, oh, well, Kevin committed another imperfection crime. The entire planet is told to now do it for the rest of his life. So
I didn't know that, but that's...
Yeah, so some of them are mimic tactics, and some of them are actually, we think he did this, so they're mimic tactics, right? And it gets put in what they call their laundry list, which a man named Brian Longbotham, which I worked at Universal Studios in modern video film, who was sent after me using the Universal Studios corporate dollars to hunt me, so you understand the ramifications of the people involved in the entertainment industry with billions of dollars sent after me, or I should say turned against me, to hunt me down, to try to frame me or set me up in front of them to make it look like I'm doing these things to people. I don't want to get too sidetracked, But from that,
All right. No,
no, that's okay because
important to.
yeah, because I'll start to get into specific details. But that's a good. I'm glad you asked that because now I can sort of expand out. Now that they understand the basis, Aubrey Fisher, for example, a girl sent after me associated with Rhodey Morales, working with the LAPD to take me to strip clubs and try to make it look like I was stalking and hunting strippers and porn stars, who introduced me to Aubrey Fisher, who was mad at me for getting into studio photography, which doesn't make much sense. I tapped my foot around her when she wanted me to help her with some of her studio shoots, and she got angry that I tapped my foot around her, and that got put into the laundry list of things to clean me up or confess to give false confessions. For 6 years, something like 6 years, anyone that saw me anywhere, LAX airport, airports in New York, airports in Florida, walking around Florida, walking around Vegas, whatever, coffee shops worldwide would, not just Starbucks, any coffee shop, would see me and start tapping their foot or tapping on the counter. Starbucks employees would say, this is how much it is, and start tapping cards on counters, things like that. Or strangers behind me would start tapping, or they would start tapping against the wall to hint, we know what you did and we're going to guilt you to death, even though I didn't do it. But let's theoretically say I was kind of an asshole to Aubrey one time in my life. That still wouldn't justify worldwide mobbings to hunt down and eradicate someone over tapping your foot by someone. Okay, so once again, the mimics, right, we're going to tap you to death, if that makes sense. Okay, other ones, the cars, 90% of cars in parking lots before 2011, all parked forwards, not all of them, but most of them, all parked forwards. And after I parked backward once at an Encino Starbucks, now about 40% of parking lots, cars are parked backwards. Now that's hard to sort of analyze and understand if you're not watching the change, but what is obvious is the 2s and 3s groupings in every lot all across the world of cars backwards together, which is blatantly obvious, and anyone analyzing that can say that is not normal. Other things, people now follow me waiting in cars, watching me. Example, last night I went out to take a walk. About 7 or 8 cars showed up within 10 minutes. People sitting in the cars watching me to try to provoke me. We're watching you, with the police death threats on video. We're watching you. And Dincy's neighborhood watch groups. Another one is people waiting in cars backwards with lights on in large groups. Got tons of video of that. And you'll notice I might drive into a parking lot, everything's normal, and within 10 minutes people either see me and reverse their cars and turn on the lights, or people show up doing these things. This is a good example. At 29, when I didn't really comprehend what was going on, I would go into coffee shops and buy something, and they would grab the credit card and they would tap it twice on the counter.
Okay.
And then to test the waters, I went down to Laguna Beach to a Coffee Bean, or San Diego, Oceanside, then the other way. Each and every place in sequence, grabbed the credit card and tapped it twice. Little suggestive messages like, we know you but we don't know you, to try to create paranoia. Now remember, these are in the I'm about to end this excerpt or whatever, but then there's the verbal conversations, like within the last year and a half, most of the people I talk to say man in the sentence, either around me or directed at me, like, oh hey Kevin, how you doing, man? Oh man, it's a good day, man, this. And it goes, especially around my house, to each and every single person, every Starbucks employee, every Coffee Bean employee, man, in repetition. And the reason, I'm sure you know, is if a group of people go, I don't know you, but they keep saying man 100,000 times a day, it's going to
put you in a hypersensitive state once you pick up on it, and eventually, if they never stop, which remember, this has been going on all day and night, 24/7 for 18 years. The motive, and it starts actually at 5 years old. With
I was just going to ask you if it was before that, but that's when you started.
It was, but they were different tactics.
Okay.
And the tactics change and grow. So they try to find weakness, and the tactics change and grow to exploit weakness, if that makes sense. So they want that reaction with the police and people like Sean Dinsey to say Kevin's a violent, paranoid schizo. We need to remove him from society. We could question the whys all day and night, but nothing's going to be justified.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so, and on that note, not only the man, but it goes through all sorts of personal conversation and social network tweets, but taking things from my sentences and using it in their sentences over and over, like perfect 100,000 times a day, or alrighty. I joke about Jim Carrey. I think I mentioned alrighty then, and then everywhere I go, people go alrighty 100 times a day to try to sort of guilt and mimic me into a reaction. Okay, so now I don't want to go. Remember, amplify that times 1,000, and you'll understand. And worldwide, you'll understand what's going on. Okay, so those are the tactics. And now one of the things I kind of wanted to expand on was you quickly mentioned taking pictures of people. And I think that's an important topic because Officer Toro shows up at Encino Starbucks saying, if you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way. I don't think his real name's Officer Toro because he freely gave it to me, hinting about people sent out for me in Southern Oregon State College, but that's irrelevant. He was wearing a badge with a group of police officers in a car. So, I guess, do you have any input on anything you want to bring up? Or
is he the officer who asked for his badge number?
No, that was Jensen a little bit around the same time. I think Jensen was right before that.
Okay. And taking pictures of people, was that like in a specific place, or what was that?
Well, there's a certain progression. See, I got into photography to create art.
Yeah.
Obviously, Aubrey Fisher got mad that I was getting into studio photography. Now, we're not going to have time to go into their reasonings, that they don't want me into studio photography, or Mike Wexler was sent after me in 1996 taking a film photography class, which is very strange that they don't want me having any piece of equipment on me that can basically capture my surroundings on a film plane, or now a CMOS sensor, because if I go out and take pictures, there's so many people taking turns on me that the people in the frame, whether I'm directly taking their picture or they just happen to be in the frame, like if you're at Disneyland and you take a picture of your friend and there's 100 people in the background,
right,
which clearly isn't illegal, there's going to be accessories to murder, which let's call this what it is. It's an extermination campaign. And so the police don't want me having any proof or anything that I could ever use to defend myself, saying, look, this is what's going on. Hence, we're not going to allow you the 10 terabytes of information you have, the endless death threats on video, it's all inadmissible as evidence. Yeah, sure, okay. Right?
That's okay. That made sense to me. I was wondering why they would say taking photos. You couldn't take photos because that's
Correct.
Not illegal. You're not doing
Correct.
anything wrong. I've seen your artwork, just amazing. So okay.
Yeah. So what happens? I kind of got sidetracked. What happens is, I buy a camera, they flip out before it even arrives in the mail. They flip out.
Okay.
They don't want it. And then maybe I go out and I want to learn the camera. So maybe I go to a coffee shop and I have an instruction manual, and people start showing up asking me all these questions, like these interrogation questions. Are you a photographer? You're not allowed to have a camera if you're not a photographer. Just the weirdest things, right?
Right.
Trying to make me think that I'm doing something wrong.
Okay.
I even had a guy, I think last night or the night before, ask me if I was a photographer, to try to intimidate me, right?
Okay.
Well, what does it matter if I'm a photographer or not? I'm allowed to have a camera. Nobody cares.
And you can tell, like, by the way that he asked you that it wasn't just, like, a question.
Oh, yeah, by the clothes. Like, for example, he's wearing camos, which is one of the tactics in groups. He pulls up in a white car with a black hood, and about 50 yards down the street, someone pulls up another white car with a black fender at the same exact time.
Okay.
A girl walks out a couple minutes before that of my complex, walking dog with black pants and a white shirt. You mentioned last time about you've seen the black and whites.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see all these things going around, happening with these coordinated groups, and then he's asking interrogating questions that nobody could care less about.
Okay.
And the truth be told, we all have cameras. We all have cell phones with cameras. So we're all photographers, and we're all taking pictures. If you really want to think like they do, it doesn't even matter, right? There's no argument here, right?
You're doing nothing wrong.
Nobody says you have to make $500,000 a year to have a camera in photography. You can be a hobbyist. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so needless to say, what happens is I get the camera, they get angry, the attacks get larger and larger, and then what are you going to do? Well, if people don't leave you alone, you're going to start either videoing the incident or taking pictures to show, look, these people are hunting me, right? Look what's going on. And then you're going to do what I did, is you're going to go to the police. And you go, look what's going on. I'm being hunted. I'm being stalked. And in my case, the police, because they're accessories to murder,
Don't want to see
going, you can't take pictures of people and this and that. Whoa, wait a minute. How do you do your investigations? You know?
Right. I think that's like a good point too, just because if anyone is thinking you're taking pictures of people specifically or whatever, that's not the case. You're taking pictures of the surroundings and like you're not doing anything.
Yeah, or sometimes the actual people, if in groupings, like if 100 people show up in 30 minutes wearing black pants and red shirt, I take those pictures to show, look what's going on. And then they, to cover up the crimes, say Kevin is a pervert and he's following me, trying to take my picture.
That's what I'm trying
to
like, get.
Kevin is this, but at no point am I actually getting into people's faces or this or that.
You're
right?
not taking the photos of people specifically to do anything with those photos specifically. You're just
correct.
Trying to
They're just evidence of a crime.
Okay, that's what I'm trying
that's
to
what they
clarify.
are. But they know that. That's the point.
I know. I just want to say it again because on here too, like people are trying to say things about you that aren't true. You know, like that you're a pervert or whatever it may be, and that's not the case.
Yeah, like I'll give you just one of these pervert examples. The Topanga Gateway Plaza, which they've been working on me for over 20 years for the crime in 2001 of walking in and buying a coffee at Topanga Starbucks. 2001, right around 29.
Okay.
They started it on me. Remember, John Paul Naranjo that they had hit me in the back of the head 7 times. That was around 2009 or something.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a good 10 years or 9 years of all day and night attacks before it escalates to them physically attacking. Right? They're mentally attacking me for a good 9 or 10 years, and then they break. We can't set Kevin up, so they turn into physical attacks on their part.
What happened that day? Because I remember seeing a video of the security guy at Starbucks with the other employee, and then later after that is when he attacked you, right? Yeah,
without going too deep, the employee was gay, which links back to a gay person they sent after me at University of Colorado that they're trying to cover up. And they were mad at me because he kind of snuck in my room when I was sleeping, and he asked me what I was thinking and flirting with me. I was a little shy and uncomfortable. You know, I'm like 23 years old, I don't know. And I don't do anything mean to the guy, but I get a little nervous, and I walk out of the room, and I go to my roommates, and I go, oh, that guy just asked me, I think he's gay, whatever. But I'm not gay, and that was it, and he felt alienated. And these are perfectly normal college situations. I didn't run up and go, you gay guy, and bash his skull in with a crowbar or anything, right? It just didn't work out, right? And I'm not gay. But after that, they were telling everyone worldwide, or at least this was before the internet, so at least citywide,
Mm-hmm.
that I am a homophobe that hates gays, I'm doing all these things to gays,
Okay.
and that links to a Starbucks, that gay Starbucks employee in a different state 20 years later, and links to another gay Starbucks employee at Victory and Canoga, all coming after me in the Kevin hates gay people tactic. Remember, once again, these tactics jump from thing to thing all day. Just like the video I'm going to show you, we have a Starbucks employee, the one saying that I supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, is making references that I supposedly now scared people hanging turns in my car or something, trying to scare them with my car. Right, so you can see how it's jumping from gay to car to masturbation to this, right? And just going from thing to thing, like in the thousands, right? And it's all on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not one thing. Why do they keep jumping from thing to thing?
Right.
Okay, so, yeah, so the Gateway Plaza parking lot with the Starbucks, I mentioned earlier, the lights on backwards, the cars in pairs backwards, the identical cars, the people watching me turning on their lights. So I go and I video what's going on.
Yeah.
And they get mad.
And they say...
And like one girl in a yellow X-Tiara, which actually I think lives in the Met, or she actually... There's another identical car guy that lives in the Met, which is also stalking me with the identical car.
Mm-hmm.
And she runs up to my car with a camera. He's a pervert. He's taking my pictures, blah, blah, blah. As if... Oh, and she's one of the people waiting backwards with the lights on, showing that she's taking part. So she gets caught sort of taking part, but then she probably says, you know, oh shit, what do I do? Now I'm videoed an accessory to murder, so she has to cover it up. So she runs up, all on video, with her cell phone videoing me as if I care, because I couldn't care less.
Right.
I have nothing to hide. And so, he's a pervert, he's taking my picture while videoing me, and it's like... And then I just, nicely drive away, and they follow me, showing their anger and rage, how they follow me from place to place around the lot, just like you saw the security guard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's always mad at me for defending myself, which is a situation I shouldn't have to be in the first place.
Right.
Because the police are supposed to stop these things, but the police are telling them to do it.
Did that just happen with the girl? Or
No, that was maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but these are like daily incidences for me, because the common problem, or the main issue, is that nobody thinks this is wrong, just like all the people in Adolf Hitler's regime didn't think killing Jews and minorities were wrong, which most normal, sane people will sit there and they'll like question and fathom it, like, how could that be?
Right.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Just like Romans killed Jews and whatever, right? It's like,
right. Any
I mean,
genocide.
yeah, I mean,
awful.
mass genocide based on different races and cultures have gone on throughout our entire existence in humanity. And while this is really unexplainable, because it's literally a planet against one person at this point, is totally unheard of. It's like, what the hell? But it is what it is. Okay, so that's why they don't want me having a camera. That's why they don't want proof of the situations. And all I really did was want to go out and create art. Photo shoots on green screens with models, doing 3D visual effect backgrounds, which is what I started, which everyone got angry, apparently, especially my family, not directly, but we don't want Kevin doing this, which is completely harmless.
Right.
And everyone else is doing it. Right?
And your art, I've seen your art, it's good.
Yeah,
too.
thank you. I mean, I sort of felt like I was getting into I'm starting to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And more importantly, comfortable learning how to pose people, because that's really difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
And combining it all, but like everything else in my life, it's all sabotage right from day one. Okay, so Starbucks and everyone else is trying to say that I'm a so Starbucks and everyone else is trying to say that I'm a public nuisance,
Right.
especially Dincy and the judicial system, to cover this all up.
Right. So, who have they said this to? Like that you're a public nuisance, or who says that to you? Like,
Well, that was some of the actual judicial charges, because,
Okay.
hey, Kevin, you won't stop passing out cards, and then they make up the lies. You're forcing cards on people.
Okay.
Right. I've never forced a card on people, and all those incidences are on video, and half those incidences are all setup attempts by them on video, which my lawyer has seen, and nobody sits there and goes, this is wrong. They keep lying, going and trying to force cards on people, but nowhere have I.
No, and here's the thing, like, if someone, like, I've seen even in this building, if somebody asks you to not put the cards in the building or whatever, like, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you're forcing them.
Yeah, but then they'll play these crazy games. Like, I might hand someone a card, and then I'll walk away, and then they'll go, and they'll follow me, and they'll go, I don't want your card.
Okay.
And try to force it on me, and if I put me in a position, like, if I don't take the card back, I forced it on. Like, weird things that don't make any sense.
Okay.
Or Elsie Sandoval from my father's office. I start passing out cards like you do flyers on cars. So she's running around literally, and remember, this information goes worldwide with the police saying that I'm somehow trying to jam people's windows shut with cards. Which, if anyone has the common sense of a 10-year-old, what makes more sense? You're trying to get people to stop attacking you, or you just had an epiphany that today I'm going to wake up and jam people's windows with cards that says I'm a target and people won't stop attacking me.
Right.
I mean, let's be realistic here.
I've seen a picture of your vehicle with cards jammed in it, but I've never seen you do anything like that. So
but
they were doing
that. And so all these arguments are similar to that weird reversed thing. And then we actually have women that actually, working with the police, have slapped me and tried to force cards on me, and the police don't care. Right? It's like, actually has done it, but they don't care because they're all working with the police. And of course, when she heard Dincy's name, that's when she flipped out, showing that she was like a Nazi.
Who is this person?
It was some random girl at a Starbucks on Canoga and Oxnard.
Okay. Recently?
About a year ago.
Okay.
It's on video. I never had a chance to edit it. Oh, and then of course the Starbucks employees say I hit her. And I go, well, it's all on video. And then they get angry, of course, and they ramp up their attacks, right?
I mean, one thing I know about you is that you would never do that. You would never hurt somebody physically, ever.
I don't have a reason to. I mean,
No,
unless it's in self-defense, like Bailey Bernard, where he followed me home and already had assault and batteried me. He's laying his shoulder on me. He's following me for 30 yards, screaming at the top of his lungs with a camera in my head. He's blocking his body against the gate, refusing to let me get away. I'm trying to put the key in. He's slapping the key out. Okay, and it breaks up in a fight. And the only thing that Topanga Division LAPD care with Shapiro and Detective Angela Stewart and Dincy and all the whole whatever Jew hate crew, I don't know what to call them, is that Kevin, did you or did you not hit a person? Well, yeah, I hit a person. Okay, well, you're arrested for battery.
In defense.
Wait.
Because you couldn't
Wait, but what about him? Did he hit me? It doesn't matter. Right. Who was the one that called first? Me. Who was the one that went down to the station? Me. Doesn't matter. All we want to know is, did you touch a person? We don't care.
What happened?
We don't care if someone's running around with machetes chopping your limbs off after he's hacked off 10 of your limbs. If you went like this to him, we're gonna arrest you. Well, that's pretty strange, and it's all on video and photos and this and that. We don't want the video.
No, you.
Why don't you?
Never like unprovoked. The only time that you've ever done anything, like you said, like when you defended yourself with a guy who hit you 7 times in the head, right? And then when somebody was like coming at you, attacking you, not letting you into your home, you're going to defend yourself. That's like a normal human reaction.
Yeah.
And so you never start or instigate any type of physical altercation.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have no reason to. I'm about positivity, accomplishments, doing things with my life, making shitloads of money, thinking big, and helping everyone else in my path make money in a non-greedy way. Because that's who I am, and being creative and building things, and that's kind of my foundation, is creative and building things, and whether it's building a creative business or art or whatever, and accomplishments and a legacy based on these types of things. That's who I am, but someone's really mad about that. Someone does not want that to happen.
Yeah, which just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, okay, so let's see.
I know we have
okay, so we I think we have, a half an hour or so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, still. Okay, so how could the police not know about the gang stalking terror tactics done to me when you yourself see it instantly within minutes of walking outside your office door, all the way out here in Thousand Oaks, and I live in Woodland Hills?
Right.
Right?
Where
I mean, you see it in minutes.
Mhm.
And when you saw it, more importantly, when you saw it on video, you didn't sit there and play the moron games that I have from so many people. Like, I kind of sort of see, but
No,
I
it's
don't.
very apparent. I mean, like, I see what you're talking about exactly.
Yeah.
I see it, what's going on. And
Yeah.
So,
So police officers and detectives who are trained, maybe not necessarily in gang stalking, but trained to see if something out of the norm is going on, and lizard tails on welcome mats, 7-slash tires,
your car's vandalized numerous
keyings, top slashings, thousands of cards and cracks per day, bitch written on the car, faggot written on the car, spit on the car for years,
kitty litter.
kitty litter with shit on the car with notes, Merry Christmas. I have like thousands of these photos, right, across like a 10-year period.
And those are
and
like,
they can't put the pieces together.
and you went to the police for those, right? Because those are like acts of vandalism.
It was kind of on and off. Like, there's a point where they just won't help me. I mean, at the very beginning, at first I was terrified. Like, what do I say to them?
Right.
So I didn't instantly go there. I started hiring private investigators. And I could tell that the private investigators knew who I was, and they were stealing my money and belittling me.
Okay.
And this still goes on today. Now that I know exactly what's going on, except now it's different, because now when I talk to them on the phone or email them, they know they can't pull the wool over my eyes with the bullshit, and I'll just flat out give them video proof, and they'll instantly change from "I'm trying to control you, Kevin" to "oh shit, now I'm going to try to either thug you or I'm going to bolt the other way or something." I have all sorts of freaky setup operations with private investigators like Empire trying to set me up for cover-up operations for a girl named Julia Sophia who was hunting me down on IRC and things like this with Rhodey Morales. Actually, I'm pretty sure she was Rhodey Morales. Rhodey was posing as a girl on IRC before he befriended me.
What is IRC?
Internet-related chat back in the 1994-95 when the internet was in its infant form. Chat rooms were text-based.
I remember. Okay.
Yeah, and so telnet sessions, text-based chats, and email were the big things, and then there was a simple browser, which I can't remember the name of it, that came out, and then AOL came out, which, if you're my age, you'll remember, and they changed everything. But okay, but remember, this really gets bad for me in '94 with the internet. And my brother wanting me to see it.
Is that 29?
No, that's more like 23, maybe 22.
So before.
23, 24, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the police have to know, and because I'm 10 times more known than Donald Trump, the police have to know. But even if that wasn't the case, I mean, if 40% of your lot in Thousand Oaks here is backwards, and to put things in perspective, I have video of every police station all across Southern California, even here in Thousand Oaks, and the same patterns, mental illness patterns, are in their parking lots. So all the police and courthouses, the things directed at me are being done. So common sense. If you're a police officer or you work in the judicial system and the things are being done directed at me in your own parking lots, how could you not know?
Right.
Okay, well, that's all on video.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Just so, so what about the people that would say that could happen anywhere and that's like not proof and all that stuff?
Well, see, that's kind of what they do. See, you sort of have to understand how things start. Things start a certain way. For example, I park backwards, and then I'm sitting in an Encino Starbucks. Remember, I was going to do Encino Starbucks for about 5 years. And every single day, for every couple of minutes, I was provoked by one person sequentially after the next. And this is every Starbucks, every coffee bean, every restaurant. But trying to find peace at this location after seeing a therapist, Alex Lazar, who wanted to cover up what I knew. Literally thousands of people would show up per hour in the parking lot working on me. And so 90% of the cars are parked normal. I parked my car backwards once. Then where I'm sitting, cars start to park backwards. So they all go from forward to backwards where I'm sitting.
Okay.
Now, after enough's enough, I start getting this on surveillance video and photos. Now they gotta cover up the crime. So how do you cover up a crime like that? You tell everyone to do it.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
Kevin, if everyone does this,
Right.
you're crazy because you're different and you think differently.
Okay.
But it didn't start that way. I watched it all progress, not just with the cars, with the whistling, with the tapping, with the you can't have a camera from my own father.
That's what your dad said too.
Well, he'd play these games like you always have, even though I didn't. Once in a while, I would take the camera to the office and on lunch go out and maybe test some new lenses and go out, and my father would get mad.
Okay.
And his way of dealing with some things is not communicate. Kevin, I really don't want you to have a camera when you come to the office. Okay, sure, Dad.
Right.
Fine, done deal.
Right.
That's how normal human beings communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, what he does is he'll say, Kevin, you always have the camera on you, even though that's not true, trying to make it look like I have OCD and I'm crazy.
Okay.
And then this communication of his, or these accusations, magically go worldwide. That's the part that's not explained.
Right.
Magically worldwide. Okay? So now everyone's attacking you because you have a camera until you never have a camera again. Then you're walking in the store. Oh, so then I don't want to get too deep because I'll talk for hours, but
Okay.
then I'll prove a point. I have the freedom to have a camera, so I'll have the camera on me more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll walk into stores, random stores all over. You're a paparazzi and you can't have the camera. Just weird things that don't even make sense.
Right. I saw that those people asked you that
Okay.
in the parking lot.
I can't even remember
The
that.
one
I
with
got
the
so many
pink
times.
car, with the pink car at the Starbucks, and they were like fans of that lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the 2-day setup video with the police. Yeah, with Angeline that showed up here last couple weeks ago, following me. Okay, so why does someone walk up to a guy with a camera and say, "Well, you're a paparazzi and you can't have a camera"? Well, first of all, nobody walks up to an actual paparazzi and tells them that.
Right.
But the reasoning is because strangers are now telling me you can't have a camera, and so the progression on that one, well, that one's complex, but I'm watching this progression. My father getting mad at me for having a camera, making up the lies that it's an OCD-ish thing.
Right.
But then they also did it with my stepfather and the gym. Because I went to the gym 4 times a week, I have OCD and I can't stop going to the gym, and it's not healthy for me to go to the gym 4 days. Whoa, am I really...
Which makes
It's not directly said, but you're reading between the lines of people thugging you. You can't go to the gym because you're crazy. And then maybe you'll go out to dinner with your stepfather and he'll mention, you keep going to the gym, and then you're connecting the dots. And it's like, I've never heard of someone being unhealthy. I've never heard of going to the gym being unhealthy for someone, no matter, even if you went 7 days a week for 5 hours a day, you're like extremely healthy. And some, to put things in perspective, some of the bodybuilders that actually do go to the gym 7 days a week were basically thugging me that I go too much for 4 days. So it's not about what they're making it look like, what it's about, right? It's
it's not direct. So I'm sure
Correct.
it was like incredible.
People will say cryptic things like, you'll walk in and the person working at the front desk will say something like, you don't have to be some super buff guy.
Okay.
And so you're putting the pieces together, right? And then you're saying, well, why does the employee at the gym not want me to be buff at the gym, right? Even though it wasn't really about being Superman, but still, it doesn't matter if it was.
Yeah.
That's the point, right? And so all these things are the same. It doesn't matter if I really was a paparazzi or...
But like putting all this together, it's like draining and exhausting.
Yeah, and the thing is, it goes from thing to thing. So what's the reasoning?
Right.
If it goes from thing to thing, it's not really about the thing.
Right.
It's about something else, but this is to just drive you crazy until you have a mental breakdown, you have to check into a mental institution, you get a really bad reaction and the police arrest you and lock you away or incarcerate you for life. And remember, it never ever stops. All day and night, 24/7,
Right.
7 days a week. Hundreds of thousands of millions of people per day across the internet and worldwide parking lots. And
Yeah.
what's the reasoning?
Right.
I mean, what do you think the reasoning is?
I mean, like you said, the psychological aspect of it, you know, like trying to, well, I mean, it would make me feel crazy.
But there's got to be a
Yeah.
reason. They're not doing it for no reason.
The actual reason?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? I know that you don't know the actual reason, but
Right.
what do you think based on your psychology degree? Is this something that sane, rational people do?
Well, no.
Okay, so-
Of course not.
So, so then, if sane, rational people don't do it, then why would they do it?
Well, they're not sane, you know?
Okay, but true, but they're coordinating it. So if they're coordinating it, they have to have a logical reason, correct? Because
Yeah, I
one
mean,
guy,
they have to-
one person can be crazy, and maybe you're walking down the street and he steps on a peanut shell and he flips out and puts a hatchet in your head, and that's crazy because he has no reasoning.
Correct.
But if there's a mass conspiracy, there has to be a reason, because then you're saying that 3/4 of the planet are all crazy,
Right. To have people following.
but they're only crazy when it comes to Kevin Perlman, and then they switch back to normal with everyone else. So it's not crazy, because crazy,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, has randomness and no reasoning. They all have reasons, and they're interconnecting, and they're communicating across the internet. So they have reason, they have motive, and they have agenda. And they're conspiring in secret behind my back, and with the police and government. So,
It's like everyone.
so what do you think? I mean,
Why would
yeah,
people
what do
behave
you?
that way?
What is it they want? I mean, you said yourself, I have
well, it's like
great
what you were-
self-control. What is
You
it?
do, and so all this happening, it's like to make you look unstable and not. And like you said,
Okay,
they
and
want
why
you to
would
go
someone
into a
want-
mental institution.
Why would someone want someone to look unstable?
So you're not in society,
Correct.
and so like you were
Eradication.
saying, yeah, incarceration for life, like you were
Mhm.
saying, or a mental hospital or whatever it may be, which is just like
Okay.
that's crazy.
Correct.
So it's-
Like Hannibal Lecter crazy, right? Okay.
It's unheard of. It's like you were saying, but like the Holocaust and all those horrendous things did happen,
Yeah.
and that took, you know.
Yeah. But, well, believe it or not, I mean, gang stalking
coordination
is very rare, and all the noise of the people trying to sort of make it into a joke or become famous, or hey, gang stalking happens every day. No, it doesn't.
and stuff. Right.
But it does happen.
Trying to make it look illegitimate.
Yeah, it does happen to the select few, but it's usually a small local area. It's not. I'm known worldwide from this, but usually it's, hey, the police don't like. So, like for example, I think it was Channel 4 News on my website has a person, they moved into their father's house, and one of the neighbors got jealous, and the neighbor, they wanted the house, and so they were friends with all the people in the fire department and community,
Oh, wow.
and they have all the cars driving down the streets honking all day when they drive by the house. And this is on Channel 4 News, right?
Okay, so there's proof of.
Yeah, and so the police and the fire department are working with the citizens, ganging up on this poor guy because he inherited his father's house, and
Right.
someone just wanted it, right?
Good grief.
Yeah. So, but remember, that's in a town.
Right.
It's not worldwide like mine, right? So mine's just off the scale of you don't talk.
Well, do you want? I mean, do you want to know like why? Like, I don't know if you've ever asked
How do you?
people before, like
You can
why
ask them
is
because
this-
they won't admit to it.
Right, but like if this is like widespread, this interview too, like I don't know if. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you ask the question. Like, I want to know why. I would like to.
Well,
talk to
here's.
somebody.
I mean,
I'd
I
like to
do want to know
understand.
why. I definitely want to know why, but it has to be explained in such a way that it makes sense, because some stupid accusation, like I get accusations all day, or innuendos that I did this or that, and they're in the thousands, but that's not why.
Right.
Why would have to be something like, listen, when you were 5, someone in this person in the psychology community who's linked up with this person in the Air Force and blah blah blah. And it has to make sense,
It
right?
would have to be very like like the spider.
Yeah. But what they do is people attack me, and then they say, well, you must have done something, Kevin. Can you tell me what you've done? You know, like,
and then you're
like you know what you did, right?
Like what did your dad? You told me.
He said, my mom said my past caught up with me and hinted that I have to leave the country. And my father said, I think you know what you did. And then when I specifically asked, he said, well, people aren't told what they did because they could lie. Showing he's a psychotic, like a psychotic murderer.
Right.
Right.
Like if you don't.
And then he keeps telling me I'm not allowed to defend myself. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And then they want me to go to therapists and tell them and confess. Or they want me to sign false confessions like John Paul Nerano,
who was John Paul?
the security guard at Topanga Ventura Starbucks,
Okay.
not really working for Starbucks, but they manipulated him into attacking me.
Right. Well, it's like, I mean, it's just not, I don't know how I would feel if this was going on. You know, it's like a very lonely, like, scary place, I'm sure.
It's unheard of. There's nothing like this. This is the largest crime in history known to man against one person ever in the history of humanity. And we're talking out of 7 billion people, there's a good 4 billion taking part all day and night, 24/7. If someone doesn't think that that isn't the crime of all crimes, in a slow, horrific, painful death, or a way of incarcerating someone for life or locking them in a little box or whatever.
Torture. Like,
yeah, I mean, there is nothing that's ever been done like this, and yet none of these people are concerned about that. They don't see that there's a problem
you're
with this.
suffering. That's like the point. I want like everyone to understand.
And
like,
then what they want to do is say, it doesn't matter if people are doing these things to you, you suffer from mental illness, so we need to put you in a mental institution.
But that's irrelevant. The whole mental status, whatever, is irrelevant because a crime is a crime. You know?
Correct.
And so that's like...
Correct. If someone shows up and starts hacking your limbs off with a machete, the police don't go, well, you know, you suffer from bleeding to death and we have to put you in a special facility. What about the guy? He's falling around hacking. No, he doesn't matter. Well, that's the entire problem.
Right. Like, exactly. It doesn't matter. Like, the dog attack and all these other things that are, like, crimes, the vandalism, all these things, people trying to break into your home. It's like, who cares? Like, whatever they say, you're mentally unstable, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's not a crime, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I'm sorry, I'm going on tangents, but, like, this is important, I feel like. What do you want to happen? Like, what would you like to happen? Like, what do you want this to...
Okay, because those are...
I mean,
we're at the end, and we have like
13
minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna crank. We have barely any time left, so we're gonna crank through the last ones, and then I'm gonna get to that question. Okay. So Mike Huntley hints to me that this is about controlling me. Have you ever seen someone try to control someone this way, or better yet, do you know anyone that walks around talking about control and controlling people?
No.
Quickly,
not
fast
like
answers
that,
though.
No.
Right? I mean, isn't it fair to say that...
No.
Let's say you're married to a guy, and he says, I want to control you, so every time you talk to your friend on the phone that he doesn't like, he shoves a cattle prod up your ass, and it's not a crime,
no,
because it's just about controlling you.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
It is a crime. That's the point.
Completely.
There's no such thing as controlling people, because people are free to do what they want, and if you don't like that, you don't talk to them.
Walk the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that was okay. So now, isn't the act of torture a crime, no matter what the reason? Same.
That's what we touched on a minute ago. I feel like absolutely.
Yeah.
Torture is a crime.
Yeah. So Dinsy's neighborhood watch groups were following you around and thugging you and provoking you all day and night, 24/7, like the 7 cars that showed up last night, waiting for me with lights on or off last night or whatever, and the people coming out over as I walk out saying "man" to me over and over, or psychological torture tactics. So it's just because he wants to control someone and it's not a crime because he's controlling someone? Well, that violates my freedoms and constitutional rights protections and results in something really bad happening to me. Also known in law called damages, whether it's damages to me stopping from breathing, damages to stopping me from making money on a civil aspect, or damages, whatever, but damages. Okay, so we don't have much time, but having anything else you want to talk about?
I guess like the question that I asked you, because obviously
Okay.
like the physical harm that has been done to you and like the
Yeah.
vandalism and all that stuff, that's easier. Those are like hard evidence facts. Like the psychological stuff
Yeah.
that's being done and has been going on for so long is harder to like concretely, whatever, and like easier to deny. But what do you know what I'm trying to say here? Like the facts, like they vandalized a car, like that's a crime. Like you got
Okay, so yeah, I
attacked by
understand.
a dog.
Okay,
But you
so
have all this video of all these other things. It's just
yeah. Okay, so no, I can answer this because I think and I have some of Brittany's questions from the end of last week, which we ran out of time written down here.
what?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well, first, what am I hoping to get from the interview?
Yeah.
I think not only do I need to be acknowledged based on the facts, proof, evidence, the horrific, unspeakable, unimaginable situation that everyone's trying to cover up. I think it is important that people like Brittany that see it, which is the select few that has the balls to say, this is not right. This is unacceptable. Okay? And she has a psychology degree, and I think it's important, even though it doesn't, no offense to you,
That's okay.
it takes a 10-year-old with common sense to understand what's going on, but because Brittany has a psychology degree, she could understand the psychotic personalities of control or whatever. My father, who knows what happened to my father for him to be like this, and who knows what happened to my mother for her to be this crazy neurotic, I'm digging for anything to try to fix you to death or whatever, right? I mean,
well, and the emotional torment that you constantly endure day to day.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that,
Yeah.
and then what can be done so you don't
Yeah.
have to suffer in that way.
Yeah, and so why does my website exist? That was one of your questions, I think. Well, yeah,
Well, that's a good question, but
okay, why? And this was a big one because people are trying to cover this up. But yeah, you wrote that on the paper as we. The website exists on multiple levels. The first and foremost is to put a stop to this mass attacks to me so that I can stay breathing, have a healthy life. I'm 47. 47 years have been stolen from me. It would be nice to know that even though I could probably never really have a normal life, that at least I can have a life without angry, enraged psychopaths running around saying, you don't talk or we kill you and this and that, with worldwide groups helping them and the police and government. Okay, so first and foremost is to normalize the situation like we spoke about, so people understand what's really going on. The truth, what's really going on, whether people think I did something or not, that's their own baggage. And that's not my problem. And if someone wants to actually have a real crime of a magnitude that matters, other than tapping your foot, for example, LAPD and Roddy Morales say I killed someone, but is there a body? Is there a crime scene? No, there isn't. And as this jumps to thousands of other things, if there's no body and there's no crime scene, then there's no person killed, and therefore there's no argument.
And just to state it, you've never killed anybody.
Correct.
The facts are
not
you've
even
never
remotely
done that.
close.
No.
And if they're going to say that I was driving and I farted and the fart smell varied from my car to someone else and they smelled it and it caused an accident, well, that doesn't quite count, just like the foot tapping.
No, you're not a violent person. You would never cause harm to somebody intentionally like that.
Yeah, and so the point is, I can't control a bunch of witch hunters' paranoia, but that doesn't give them the right to hunt me down and kill me.
No.
Right? And that is unacceptable, and that is the entire police's job to stop that and make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so the second reason is awareness that you are not safe. You are not protected. You are not safe. You do not have constitutional protections, freedoms like we were all promised in the United States of America. And even though we are all ingrained and reinforced to talk about this is the best country in the world, which might have been in the 1950s or 40s or 20s, we are no longer the leader of freedom or capitalism. We are at the bottom And we have lots of nut jobs in our broken government with like NSA running around with their government paranoia with control issues. But back to my point, no one is safe, and if this is going to happen to someone like me, it's definitely going to happen to a lot of other people, and it's going to get a lot worse with technology and things like deep learning coming around, which you can bet that organizations like the NSA are already using for all sorts of profiling algorithms and things like this. And I'm not getting into the technical aspect. You can research that on your own. And most importantly, because this is the largest crime known to man against one person of unfathomable things done to him, people need to understand, for historical sake, what has happened, what did occur, what is still going on, so that it never happens again, just like we do with things like the Civil War and the 1940s, World War II, or whatever, so that people can understand and learn from what's going on. But more importantly, checks and balances within our government. It is up to you, the people. The government, they don't care. They want to own you. They want to control you. They want Patriot Acts and FISA Acts to bypass constitutional rights and protections. But it is up to you, the people, to stand up against this tyranny and put a stop to it, because they don't care. And if nobody speaks out, it's just going to get worse and worse. And what do I want to happen? Well, several things. I feel that people do need to be held accountable for damages.
Just to acknowledge.
To acknowledge the situation, to speak the truth about the situation, instead of running around saying you don't talk or we kill you, and the truth can't come out because of this or that. Well, it's too late. The truth is out. And people are going to have to park their cars backwards for the rest of their life or until I'm dead. And that says that that's more important to these people than simply saying this is wrong and it should never happen again. And that's weird to me. But the truth of the matter is, I don't care if right now you're parking your car backwards to get at me because you're angry about some lie that you've been told. Your kid, this could be done to your kid just like it was done to me for no reason at all. And then what are you going to say? Right? All of a sudden, you thought you were the good guy because the Dincy crew, the 40-year Dincy crew and Mike Huntley crew said, help us hunt down and kill or eradicate Kevin Perlman. And then they turn and they take your kid and they do it to your kid because you know what? They don't care about you. They do not care about you. They are using you as tools to get at me. And I guarantee that they will throw you under the bus while they sit back and eat donuts because they don't care. And while you might feel important because you're taking part in what they want you to take part in, trust me, it's not making you important. It's making you look really bad. Right? And history is going to judge that. I might be dead and gone, but history is going to judge that. What happened here? No matter if this makes the history books or not, history is going to judge it.
I want to say just one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
If that's okay. I want people to know you, like the person you are.
I think that's important. I think I was robbed of that starting at 5 years old.
You're a good person. You are. And you are very smart. You're creative. You're driven. You've done all these incredible things throughout your life. Even though you're very modest about them. But you are. Like, you're a good person. Like, you're caring. You're always very kind. You're always very, giving. Like, you've never done a mean thing. Like, I've never witnessed you be mean to anybody. You're
I'm human.
Civil. Right, but I've never witnessed that. Like, to me, you've always been very respectful. You've always been very kind.
Yeah.
You're a good person, and so I want people to know that about you.
Well, I'll say this because I don't want some. Thank you. That's very kind, and I think it's fairly accurate. But I don't want some facade because I just want to say I want to say I am human, and I have been an asshole from time to time.
Who hasn't?
And most of those times were from people that were assholes to me. Right. But
we all have our moments.
But the point is that human beings vary in emotions.
Totally.
And it's not because you tapped your foot around someone that didn't like foot tapping or thinks. Even if I did be an asshole-ish person to Aubrey Fisher and tap my foot to provoke her, that wouldn't define my entire existence. That's the point.
Exactly.
And so that is...
That's what I want.
So people can understand how smear campaigns work and defamation, slander, propaganda. Right. They leave out all the good things.
One human error, mistake, or whatever doesn't define you as a person. Like you know what I mean? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody messes up. Like, you're human, but you're a good person, like, at your core.
Yeah, I thank you.
Everything I've seen points to that, you know? So I just want people to know you. Yeah. Like, well,
I think that that's what it's supposed to be about, is that, and that's the point, is that if you date a guy, and the guy hates your guts, and you break up, and then you go and you meet some new friend, or you meet someone else, and then, okay, we get along because he got to know you.
Right.
But that's not how my life works. What happens to me is, I date a girl, we go out to dinner once, she thinks I farted during dinner, she runs out, and somehow the entire planet, just like Mike Huntley was saying, with the Crocodile Dundee, I tell Wally and he tells the town, whatever, with his little cryptic, we're collecting information to use against you, to give to the world, with the government. So I fart during dinner, she gets offended, Kevin ruined my life, and he's a troll, whatever a troll is, something out of Lord of the Rings, I don't know. And Kevin trolled me, and now there's a worldwide campaign to kill me because I simply went on a date and it didn't work out. Right?
You want people to get to know you. You want to be given the opportunity. Yeah,
that's not how it works. I'm not saying that everyone has to mess with me, but what I'm saying is I should have the right,
the fair chance.
Like everyone else, look, I went out with you, it didn't work out. I went out with you, it didn't work out. And that's how it normally works. You keep meeting people until you meet one that you mess with, and usually the information isn't collected and disseminated from each and every one to use against you in some kind of global stalking network system built by the government to eradicate you, right?
You want like a blank slate, no judgment, like no judgment or whatever.
Well, there's always a level of judgment, but it's not judgment, it's the action.
Correct. You just, right? I mean...
Everyone's going to judge.
Well, everyone yes, but not, you know
what
I mean?
They don't act on it, right?
Based on these things that are not true. Like, I want people to, like for a second, kind of put all that shit aside. Sorry. And, like, get to know you and talk to you.
Yeah, well, I think most people, when they meet someone at first, there's some kind of wall.
Of course.
But they're willing to sort of take the time, and it's not a personal wall, it's just a human safety wall.
Yeah.
And they take the time to let you in and know more, and if they start saying, I don't like this person, they back off like I do.
But once they start to get to know them a little bit, like, I want you to have the opportunity for people to start to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know?
Yeah, and my problem is that I can't get to know anyone because they've been given this laundry list of lies, literally in the thousands. I'm a kittyborn, I'm a pedophile, I'm a car thief, I'm a rapist, I'm, according to Sean Dinsey, I hate black people, I hate Persians, I hate Asians. According to Sean Dinsey, I'm the next Vegas shooter, Unabomber, and this information, these are in the thousands, this information is being disseminated across the entire planet, literally, so that any person I have contact with goes, you need to die and we need to lock you away. And, by the way, I don't know you. Hence, back to the reason the website exists. With that being said, if every person I meet has a preconceived notion that I've committed 1,000 crimes, then they need the opposing argument. Right?
Absolutely. So that's what what I was trying to say.
Yeah. There's two sides to every story, and I used to joke around there's three sides to every story.
Mine, yours,
this side, that side, and the truth. But there's two sides to every story, and at no point should there be a one-sided government propaganda against me since 5 years old to the entire planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to...
Not off the top of my head. I just want people to get to know you. And, because...
But I think in order for people to want to get to know me, they need to acknowledge the situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, acknowledge it.
None of it's true, and that the government and the people that I grew up with have something to hide, and they're spewing lie after lie to the entire planet to try to cover it up, And most people should have enough common sense to understand that some guy's walking around the planet and each person he meets is spewing lies across the entire planet, then something strange is going on if people are walking up contacting them, hey, don't talk to Kevin because he's this or that, right?
Yeah.
And it happens on a city to city or state to state or at this point country to country level. If someone's setting up some kind of news feed about Kevin Perlman, you should instantly not be mad at Kevin Perlman. You should be mad at the guy setting up the news feed.
Question
Right?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the, what's the word? I'm like, the awe of this. I can't believe that these people. It's like the movie Idiocracy, where I can't believe I'm watching this going, I know, even though Tom Farley's lie is that I've said that all people are stupid or something like this, to try to rile the people against me. It's kind of like the movie Idiocracy, where they're all just like dumbed down in the future, like, we water our plants with Gatorade because it gives it electrolytes, and you're like, is this really happening? You know?
I haven't seen that movie. No. So, yeah, exactly. So, but I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay, so I guess we will end this here. And
To be continued.
To be continued, yeah.